Ladies and gents, good evening. I left the privacy screen on. It did its job. It did exactly what it's meant to do. I meant to take that off before I start streaming, and that is to prevent me from showing my screen to people. It did its job. Good job, me. Let's try this again. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully we're all well. Welcome back. We've got past that weird in-between week of, like, Christmas to New Year. The week where no one knows what's going on. What happens in that week? Nobody knows. Tell you what I did in that week. I got crazy. All right, I'll tell you a crazy story. And it involves a good friend of mine. Good YouTuber, Twitch streamer, friend of mine. A guy called Mr. Greggles, who does drumming streams on Twitch. Very talented man. I'm also well, I need a haircut. So, apologies for that. But, right, listen. Okay, I need to know who's in the right here before we start playing Path of Exile. And yes, I will get to my bank because it's been updated. There has been a bank update, okay? Stuff has happened. We don't talk about tab 11, that's fine. But New Year's Eve, what did I do? Let me tell you what I did. Some people look at me and they go, Josh, you're an actor. I bet the New Year's Eve for you consisted of insane parties, drink, drugs, girls, you know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, that kind of thing. No, listen, okay? I was playing Ticket to Ride, 4-player game, and I nearly had the European Express bonus. You know, where you build the stations and the trains all around the whole map and you get an extra 10 points at the end of the game? I was this close to it. You know what Mr. Greggles does? You know what he does? He takes the tunnel. He takes the Northern Tunnel, which is a 6-carriage long bit. If you've not played Ticket to Ride, this will make no sense to you. If you have, you'll be feeling my pain. All right, I was saving up cards in my hand. I was going to take that tunnel. I was ready. And then he just swoops in a turn before, takes it, scores it, 21 points for the tunnel straight away, prevents the European Express. Hurt, nearly threw him out the house. I was like, Greggles, get out. What are you doing? That's not guest-like behavior. That is not very Raven. How dare you, in my own home, treat me like this? But yeah, in all seriousness, it was a dick move, and I'm going to hold that grudge for the rest of my life. I'm going to his wedding. I may bring it up to anyone that will listen. Just drunkenly stumbling around, rambling about how Greggles, he doesn't cheat, but he plays very unfairly. You know, it's not cheating to play the game how it's meant to be played, but I think it's a little bit unfair that you're doing the exact same thing that I wanted to do to you. Because it's a dick move, but I wanted to do it. When I do it, it's a tactically sound, very strategic move to you. When you do it to me, it's just being a dick. Anyway, I will not elaborate on that. Let's play Path of Exile. I am up to Act 8. I have done better. I have rebuilt my character again. Now, some of you are saying, Josh, why do you keep rebuilding your character? Listen, I didn't understand how the game works. Also, what is going on with this side of the shirt? Like, I don't like this, but I've got to live with it. I've got to live with it. You've got to live with it more than I have. You've got to look at it. Okay, allow me to... I didn't understand how the game worked. I didn't quite get what was happening. I didn't understand that these things called... Let me check I'm pronouncing this correctly. Defense. I didn't understand what the hell that was. You know, to me, offense. That is the good thing. That is where the enemies die quickly. But defense apparently is where you don't die. And that seems quite useful. So I have increased my armor to 10,000, which is pretty good. And I have got all of my resistances to over 75%. Fire, cold, and lightning are all capped at 75. Chaos is only 10, but, you know, who does chaos damage? No one. It's not even a problem. And then chance to block 32. We've got some good stuff going on here. I've been building into so much more defense. Now, allow me to also explain. We've also got some health regen going on. Life regen per second, 150. That's decent. We're up to 2,000 life. This is not bad. This is actually a pretty good build, and what I've got now is I even found a helmet that gives me increased levels to my minion skills, which I think is pretty good. And the reason I've got no gems in my helmet whatsoever is I have a special thing. I took the Wildwood specialization because I've read on this character again, but if I don't have any gems in my helmet or in my body. If in my helmet I have 25% increased maximum, I think it's life? No, it's plus 50% to all elemental resistances to have a helmet with no socketed gems. That's pretty damn good. And if I have a body with no socketed gems, the defenses on it are doubled. And seeing as it is giving me 1,283, that doubles to 2,000, almost 2,500, which is pretty good. You know, I'm happy with that. Now, you might say, Josh, you're in Act 8 and you're only running a maximum of a 3-link. Don't worry. You know what's going to get me through? Pure skill. Pure, unadulterated skill. We've got some skeletons. We've got an absolute ton of Raging Skulls here. That's pretty much all I'm playing with is the Raging Skulls. Again, this is the politician build. Just throw the skulls at the enemy. Use the old flesh offering to make the skulls better. And I think you'll find that we're doing a huge amount of damage. I'm going to turn it down slightly because these skulls be hitting. I think you'll find that we're doing a huge amount of damage. I can even summon my little big golden boy. And do you guys want to see something clever? I've got a panic button. My panic button is pressing Q, which is summon Vaal skeletons, which summons, let me have a quick check, 35 skeletons. Now that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Summoning 35 skeletons in one go. Yeah, I can get behind that. Now, I'm not bothered about picking up anything that isn't a unique, because, as we all know, if it's not a unique, it's literally worthless. It's entirely pointless. Why would you pick anything else up that isn't a unique in this game? Everything I'm wearing is unique, apart from all the rare stuff. But most things that I'm wearing are unique. In hardcore, the panic button is Alt F4. I've pressed that before in games. People kept telling me it used to like give me gold and stuff in RuneScape. It never did. It always just closed my client. I could never quite get that to work for me. I'm sure Alt F4 does something in some games, but for me, all it ever used to do was crash the window, and I don't think that's what it was meant to do. It is Josh. Luality. It is. Welcome, Luality, to the stream, ladies and gents. If you're not aware of Luality's content, she's fantastic. She's been doing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3 stuff recently. You may know her from the incredible video she put out a couple of years ago where she beat, was it the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3 on a dance mat, which has just secured your space in YouTube and gaming history forever. That's insane. Everyone goes full unique build when they first start the game. You say that. It's not like I've got lots of characters up to this level and all. I still want to build uniques. There's just something viscerally satisfying about equipping something that's orange instead of something that's gold. It's just better. Right, the only thing I'm picking up are the conniving wands just in case. Sorry, convening wand, not conniving wand. I've been pronouncing that in my head wrong the entire time. Okay, so I picked those up because there is a chance that I can upgrade that to a rare item and it ends up being really, really, really good. But it isn't, because I've got this magical stick that's orange, which makes it objectively better than all other drops. Look at that. Minions deal 36% increased damage. That's pretty good. Summon skeletons cover enemies in ash on hit. That's pretty good. Again. Summon skeletons take damage per second, yeah, and then they die. So I get that. Yeah, better color, dopamine injection. That's what it is. It's just an objectively better choice for everything. So this build is great because I don't need to pay too much attention. I can just summon a load of Raging Skulls. I keep casting Flesh Offering because that increases their attack so much. And then I just kind of run around. That's my plan here. I've also got Unleash support on. And that is because if I don't cast Summon Raging Skull for a while, when I next cast it, it summons 4 Raging Skulls instead of just 1. So it's almost like a little hint. I've not been doing anything. What mug do I have today? Thank you. I've gone with a Mr. Cool mug today. Can I unleash the Bless? Bless Unleashed has been unleashed enough. However, I will work out the next couple of worst MMOs that I'm going to make. Finally, I can actually play City of Heroes, which I'm looking forward to. Now, the reason that I tend to avoid games that get run on private servers is not because I don't appreciate the effort that it takes to run a private server or have any kind of moral quandary with it myself. It's, I mean, because I'm a big fan of game... what's the correct way to phrase this? Game preservation. I'm on the same side as Ross from Accursed Farms with that, is the game should be preserved, and if private servers can do this, fantastic. The reason I tend to avoid private servers is because the moment I even mention them, I get flooded with emails from people who own or run private servers offering me absurd amounts of money to make adverts for their specific private server. And I don't want to do that. I don't ever want the channel or the content I make to become about advertising things at you that people have paid me to that I don't believe in. If someone comes to me with a product that I use and I think is good and I can stand behind, and when someone says to me, oh, you sold out, I can be like, no, I've actually used that product for a long time. I think it's quite good. That's when I'm comfortable doing sponsorships. Like when RuneScape come to me and say, hey, Josh, we'll work together. Yeah, straight up. I like RuneScape. When Path of Exile come to me and say, hey, do you want to do an advert? Yeah, of course. I think it's a good game. I can stand behind it. I can justify it. But I tend to avoid private servers just because I don't want to deal with the hundreds of emails that I get from them asking me to endorse their server. Because I just can't. You know, I don't want to. I don't think it's the right thing to do. But other people want to, and that's fine. You can't judge them for them. I thought your problem was the custom clients, which were, yeah, I mean, they also do run the risk of malicious code because you can never trust it. I never know exactly what code is or is not being run. And I'm not that tech savvy, so I wouldn't know if, you know, some kind of malicious code was being run in the background. I would need someone far smarter than me to be able to tell me if it's safe or not. That's why I tend to stick to games on Steam, just because I like to think that I can trust the Steam guys to have kind of vetted those programs before I download them. Just run all your decisions through Callum. Yeah, that's a good idea. He knows tech side. He is way ahead of me on that one. I think one of the most intelligent things you can do is just fully admit and understand when you aren't the most intelligent one there. Yes. I love the New Year's chest hair. I wasn't going for it, but should I keep it? Is that what I should go for? I mean, I haven't been able to get to the barbers, and that mainly applies to the head hair, but chest hair barbers, there might be a thing. I don't know. Maybe I've found a polished gold ring of the Squall. Clearly, the dude from FF8 was having a good time to end up with a polished gold ring, but hey, Squall, whatever floats your boat, my man. You enjoy your life. Right, let's continue playing Path of Exile. Let's keep throwing flaming skulls at things. Chest hair good. I will keep chest hair good. It was Squall. Squall Lionheart, I believe, was his name. Now, I've never actually completed the main story of Path of Exile, but I'm going to. And when I finally get round to making a video on Path of Exile, I might do something that I don't think anyone's ever done before. I might actually pay attention to the story. I know, it's a crazy idea. I don't know if it'll work, but I might give it a go. I might actually say, right, where's the plot going? Who's who? Who's Kitava? Why does any of this matter? You know, can you do that? I think so. I think it was a thing that Chris originally started with it. I might give it a go. It's too dangerous, you might go insane. Can you sum up the Path of Exile lore quickly? I can give it a go, but I will get it wrong, so someone who is smarter than me needs to correct me. You did something bad, so you get exiled to a place called Rayclast, and then you fight your way through and back away from Rayclast toward where you were from, and it turns out that the person that exiled you is actually building a huge machine to try and become God. So you fight him, and then the original bad god comes back, and so you fight them, but you lose, and that actually permanently reduces your elemental resistances by 30%, which I think is actually quite a clever way of doing that, power creep and all that. And then you kill everyone. That's it. That's the plot. That's the whole thing. That's the entire plot of Path of Exile. Josh, where have you been? I have been playing Path of Exile. That's what I have been doing. Right, I have to travel to the Lunaris. Have I come the wrong way? Have I gone back out the wrong way? I have. Yeah, what's Piety's story? Oh, yeah. So Piety is that girl that you meet at the start, and she mocks you, and then you kill her. And then she mocks you again, and then you kill her again. And then she ends up working for the Beast, and he turns her into a hand. And then you kill her again. But then you work with her against Nightmare, and then he stabs her with a thing. And then you find a symbol of purity, and then you fight Kitava and lose. There we go. Perfect. Chris Wilson himself couldn't deny that. That was perfect. Just straight up. Everything I just said was correct. That's why I'm here. Okay, so what am I doing here? Find the moon orb. Okay, so the moon orb is in the Lunaris temple where I currently am. I need to... Everyone stop distracting me. I've got to pay attention. This is a seriously-focused game. Is he just summing up all MMORPGs in one go? Right, let me sum up every single MMORPG in one go. You, a no-name, useless, pointless hero from Forest Village, have dreams of dreaming that you have a better life. And then evil man summons God. Then you do some fishing. Then you save the world. Alright, sweet. Cool. Solved it. That is my story for every possible MMO. But does PoE have the power of friendship to beat God? I think, actually, instead of the power of friendship, in Path of Exile, you have the power of incredible violence. So the power of zombies, golems, flaming skulls, spectres, mostly just lots of magic, huge swords, axes, strengths, a level up system, mines, bombs, bows, swords, spells. Yeah. I think they realized that the power of friendship was limited when it comes to its effect on AoE. Now, the power of friendship pales in comparison to the power of 10% greater area of effect when you're throwing fireballs at things. The power of other angrier gods is the best way to look at it. Yeah. The power of enemyship, I suppose, is the way we're going with this. Just popped in after watching a YouTube video to say your stash makes me want to shove forks in my eyes. Oh, okay, hang on, right, fine. I've fixed it. I've fixed it, I've legit fixed it, okay? Let me show you. I'm going to start this stream strong. Chat in the center, I have fixed it. Right, bear with me. Tab number 1, stackable things. Look, if it's got a number to the top left, like I'm putting in from the bank now, goes in here because it's stackable. Stackable stuff goes in here. That works. See? Stackable things. Everything in there is stackable, apart from those 2 gems. They shouldn't be there, but we'll fix that later. Then we go to number 2, which is Misk. Misk is that... They actually shouldn't be there. Those boots should not be there. They might be useful in the future, though. Some other boots, mostly gems, a couple of amulets I'm never going to wear. That is a blueprint for something. There's some stackable stuff down there, but that's because they don't stack in the first tab. So it goes stackable, Misk, other, which is the 3rd tab. Now, the 3rd tab does have one stackable thing in it. You know why that's there. There's also a bow, and I got that because it's got 6 links, but it's not 6 slotted. Maybe I can update that one day at some point. There's also a bit of armor just there. Now, number 4 is where the uniques start. All of these are uniques, apart from the things that are rare, because I thought they were quite good. I'm starting to realize now they're not as good, so I could maybe throw them away, but everything else is a unique. Okay, look, these are all uniques. These are good, and there are some good uniques here. Look, see? We've got Thrill Steel, the helmet. You don't see that often. Remember that. That will matter later. We've also got the Kitava's Thirst. That's a decent mage helm. Okay, remember that as well. That will also matter later. Tab 5 is uniques. Continued. We've got some good stuff going on up here. See, all decent things. We've got 2 of the same elixir. One is worse than the other. Can't throw them away. Why not? Because they are unique. Down here, we've got the Life Sprig Driftwood Wand. This will matter again as well later. We've got some good rings over here, though. Some very good rings. Some of you who have played this game and know what you're looking for, you'll be spotting some good stuff here. The Poet's Pen, see, that's a decent one. Then we go to tab 6, which is gems. Now, someone actually left a comment on a previous video, which I very much appreciated, saying, Josh, you should be in tab 6 because you're a gem. Somebody else left a comment pointing out the 7 portal scrolls in a stack just there. That doesn't need to be... We can move on. Tab 7 is gems continued / pages. So, pages of things. Now, you might be thinking, Josh, why aren't all the pages stacked on the left-hand side? Why aren't they all in the same place? It doesn't matter why they aren't all in the same place. Don't ask these questions. Some of these gems I can use, some I can't, some are duplicated, some aren't. Doesn't matter. This is pages and that. Then we move on to tab 8, which was back to uniques. We've actually gone back to uniques now. So we had the first tab of uniques, we had the second tab of uniques, then we have a gem break, then we have a continued gem break with some pages, then we go back to uniques because these are the most important things. Now, we have got another Kitava's Thirst here. You might not think I need 2, but I think I do. I will explain at the end why. We've also got another Live Sprig wand because you can dual wield them. So it's actually useful to have 2. See? So we've got another Live Sprig wand just there. Very useful to have 2 because you have 2 hands. So you can hold... Look, see, I've got the Springleaf Kite Shield. That's a great thing. There are also 2 gems over here. They are there for reasons. Then we go to tab 9, which is uniques / other. Now that is a really good helmet because that has 39% to all elemental resistances, which is a really, really good helmet, like a legit good helmet. That shield as well, the Ghastly Theatre, that's a badass shield, but I need to try and recolor it so all of those slots are blue, and I burned like 50 chromatic orbs on it and it didn't do anything. We've got another Springleaf Plank Kite Shield down there, just in case you want to, dual wield them for any reason. Then we go to tab 10, which is important in many ways. Tab 10 is a mix of gems. We've got some blueprints over here, the kind of heist things. There's 2 good shields, which we're not using, and then the setup for my previous summoning thing, which is no longer being used. Also a couple of rare and unique things. Tab 11, obviously no use for it, don't need it. But what I was looking for, that's it. That's the 3rd Life Sprig. Because what if you're dual wielding and you drop 1? Didn't think about that, did you? Now, some of you might be thinking, Josh, why aren't all 3 Life Sprigs in the same tab? Why didn't you move it? Why didn't you put them together? Why are they spread out? Listen, imagine you're in a fight. You need a Life Sprig. You panic. You run to the bank. You know you've got 3, but they're all in the same tab. What happens if you pick the wrong tab and you've only got time to pick 1 tab? And then you get attacked? You're not going to find it. But you spread your Life Sprigs out over your tabs. You pick 1 tab at random, chances are almost 50-50 that you're going to get a Life Sprig. That, it's panic mode is what it is. Now that wand I do not need, the one that I picked up, so I can sell that one. And after selling it, I can use the bank in the correct way. Tab 1. Stackables. Tab 3, miscellaneous, full. Put 1 gem back. Tab 6, gems, full. Tab 7, gems and paper, full. 8, uniques. 9, other. That'll take it. Off we go. You might be thinking, Josh, why do you have an Omen of Return on you? You know why. Let's go back to the Lunaris Temple down into the 2nd level. Clean. Simple. Very effective. It's remarkably quick to use. It's very intuitive. If anything, I think my bank is better than the bank has any right to be. What happened to your 20 extra inventory slots? Ah, that was the really cool backpack that they ended up getting rid of. I chose a different Wildwood specialization, so I don't have that anymore. Now, some of you said, Josh, when you bought the extra tabs, why didn't you buy the currency tabs? Well, what you fail to realize is that yes, you can buy currency tabs. You can buy tabs for maps. You can buy tabs for blueprints. You can buy tabs for all this other stuff. You can buy tabs for gems. But if you buy a currency tab, you can only put currency in it. You can't put uniques in it. You can't put pages in it. You can't put sweet pair of shoes that you find in it. You buy the tabs that I've bought, the general all-purpose tabs, you put all kinds of things in it. All of them. You know, you buy a simple currency tab and all you can put in it is currency. You buy a regular decent tab like that and you can put items, weapons, gems, everything in it. Some of you are saying that you can, though. Don't come out here giving me false information. A currency tab will only accept currency. I know that. You know that. Don't be telling me falsehoods here. Who annoyed Josh so he put chat in the middle? I forgot that I'd done that. I had moved it in order to facilitate me showing you my bank, but now I'm going to leave it there. Hang on, skill point available. I know what I need to do. I need more elemental resistances. I know that I will need this when Kitava pwns me for a second time. So I'm going to move from discipline and training to either elemental damage or elemental damage. Now, do I want 10% increased elemental damage or do I want 10% increased elemental damage? I'm going to go for the damage one because I think that's the correct choice because that gives me access to the 12% increased elemental resistances next time. There we go. Yes, but if you have more gems than one tab, it's better. Yeah, but what if you don't have more gems than one tab? And you have some uniques that need to go somewhere, and then you find a page, and then you have something else that needs to go there. Maybe you find a particularly interesting stick. There's lots of questions, and all of them are answered with the fact that all-purpose tabs are just strictly objectively better. You have a uniques tab, simples. I've actually got 4.5 unique tabs. And all of them are full because several of the uniques are copied. They are, you know, they're not replicas, that's a specific thing in this game, but they are repeats. I will be trying to get the replica Midnight Wand, by the way, from the laboratory, because that's the one that really does the Flaming Skull thing the best. And I am pretty much just playing a Summon Flaming Skull build. I hate when they're copies that are uniques that are different. It ironically means it's not unique. See? Didn't think about that, did they? This is what they really should have caught in QR, in quality testing. Is that a minion build? Mind if I see your build? It is a minion build. Now, some of you might look and go, Josh, that looks remarkably like Grazi TV's Templar minion build. And you wouldn't be wrong, but it would hurt my feelings if you pointed out that I may have just followed his build instead of building my own. But, listen, stop before any of you jump to conclusions, okay? Listen, stop it. Grazi didn't get Holy Dominion. I did. Because I know what I'm on about now. I will explain why I followed his build. It's because I kept dying on my own and I thought, ooh, that's not working. So, what he did differently to me, and it's not that much actually, what he did differently to me was he built into, like I said earlier, that weird word that I can't pronounce, defense, however that was. He put stuff into resistances, stuff into defense, and he didn't die as much. So I've actually now done that. But I'm not going to tell you that, because that would diminish my own authority in this stream. You'd be saying to me, Josh, you're not playing your own build anymore. You're now just following another better player. No, I've been inspired by. I've been, motivated by another better player. Defenses, what is that? I don't know. I think it's something that actively reduces the amount of damage you do, and that just seems dumb all around. I'm going to show the panic button in a second, though, because my panic button is fantastic. I'm very proud of it. Oh, that was some decent stuff. So I managed to get the Summon Val Skeletons build, but I've got two bits of equipment that are actually working against me. The first is my boots means that skeleton warriors are permanent, and they just follow me around all the time, which is cool. The problem is that my weapon, the Earndel's Embrace, means that skeletons actually take 21% of their maximum life as fire damage every second, so they will die. So if I cast a skeleton, the little skeleton boy here, you'll see that he's covered in ash, but he very quickly dies. Now, can you take off your boots? I could, but I'm not going to. Now, because the Vaal Skeletons has like a powerful version of it, when I cast Vaal Skeletons, I actually summon 35 skeletons in one go. And that is archers, mages, a general, and 21 soldiers. So we'll do it now. We'll get round to those guys, and we'll just summon an absolute army. Here we go. And then they all die really fast. So even though I've got an army of skeletons with me, because of my weapon, they all just last like 8 seconds. Now, they are meant to last longer, but they don't. And if I had £1 every time I had said that to someone, I would have enough money to deal with that. But I think it works. I think summoning skeletons, you only need 8 seconds if you can bone fast enough. No, I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to... You know, I'm not going to say I didn't intend that. I did. But that's a good one. See? Don't come in here complaining about my bank and then complaining that my bony boys don't last more than 8 seconds. It's insulting, and it's not the energy that I need for a Saturday. All right? We're all inside on a Saturday night. Don't sit there and think you're morally superior to me. You're not. You're just not. I see nothing wrong. Is that a skeleton in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? Well, it will be for about 8 seconds. That's what it will be. And then, unfortunately, it will burn to death. What? Okay, so what's that thing? I've seen this thing before. It's like a stupid green ghost that flies around and then dies. I've killed it once or twice, but it never seems to drop anything really good. Like, can somebody explain to me what that is? But the Bone Zone is a different... Yeah, that's a good point. We haven't gone for the Bone Zone build. We've gone for the Angry Skull build. So, you've gone for the Bone Zone. I've gone for the Flaming Head. That's the way to look at it. Oh, they can possess rares. You have to chase it, and every enemy it touch... Oh, okay, cool. You chase it, and every enemy it touches drops more loot. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just like a random thing. Okay. Okay, now I know. Now I have learned. Now I understand what that is. How many hours do I have in PoE? That doesn't matter. Probably too many. That's why I've not been putting a video out on the main channel or the secondary channel for a while. I have been way too addicted to playing way too much of this and trying multiple builds. I tried a Righteous Fire build, but I kept dying. I didn't realize that you needed to actually increase your own fire resistance for that to work. That explained quite a bit to me afterwards. Okay, so bosses. Let's just summon the army and off we pop. There we go. That's how fast you can kill the boss. Nice and easy. Grab the moon orb. And then the skeletons can just go away. Am I going to do an interview with the PoE 2 guys soon? Okay, cool. So, I will level with all of you and you can all tell me if this is going to be an important thing. I have to balance two annoying things here. I have to balance my personal desire to talk to them because I'm excited about the game, and then I have to balance my analytical upkeep on YouTube. I have spoken to Chris Wilson from Path of Exile 1 before. Did a little dev interview with him, and he was lovely to talk to. I enjoyed doing it. And I put that video up on YouTube so other people can watch my conversation with Chris Wilson. And I think that the video itself was quite fun. I enjoyed it. Analytically, it did not do well at all. Like, it very much almost harmed the retention of the other videos on the channel, which is a real shame. So when I had the Path of Exile 2 guys approach me and say, hey Josh, we'd love to have a chat with you, I would also love to have a chat with them. But putting the video from Twitch up on my channel after the chat would actually be a bad business move, if that makes sense. So what I suggested to them was, I don't think that we should, not have the chat for that reason, because it's still going to be a fun thing to do. So instead, how about we have the chat, we live stream it, and then you guys put the video of that chat up on the official Path of Exile 2 channel, whether it's a YouTube channel or a website or a Discord or wherever you want to put it. Because I want to have the chat. I've got questions, and I think it would be interesting for the future players to hear those questions being answered. but I can't justify putting it on my main channel when the focus of the main channel is mostly worst MMORPG and long-form kind of analytical discussion videos, not necessarily dev interviews, which is a shame, because I really like doing the dev interviews, but business-wise, it didn't keep up with the analytics that the channel requires, which is a shame. So I think I'll have a chat with them, and then they can post it on their own YouTube or their own website. That works for me. I would like that. That's a good idea. How many second channels do I have? So I've got the main one, which is JoshStrifeHayes, which is MMORPGs. And then I've got the second one, which is JoshStrifePlays, which is where I review older video games, more random games. That's pretty much just to give me some breathing room, you know, to step away and play the old games that I played as a kid, play games that people told me I should play that I never got a chance to, and review them. We've done Tomb Raider, we've done Nightmare Creatures, we've done Golden Sun. You know, if you've seen that kind of stuff, you know what's on that channel. There was a Baldur's Gate video that did remarkably well, actually. I really enjoyed that. I think one of the next games on that channel, I've got two ideas, two games that I really want to do for the JoshStrifePlays channel. The first is the Warhammer 40k real-time strategy game Dawn of War. And I want to do that in homage to Noble Chairs, who didn't sponsor me, but were kind enough to send me their kick-ass Warhammer chair. But there is also another game that I played as a kid on the PlayStation 2 that I really want to play again. Did any of you play James Bond Nightfire? I was just thinking about it earlier today, because I was watching a YouTube video and someone was using the GoldenEye soundtrack in the background, and I thought, you know what, GoldenEye was good. I enjoy GoldenEye. There's no denying how influential GoldenEye was as a game, but I think that Nightfire gets overlooked. Because I think Nightfire, I'm going to really spread some controversy here. I think Nightfire had multiplayer that was as good as GoldenEye. It never really took off. And I think that was because with the N64, when you just had GoldenEye, you could have, 4 people playing it on one console pretty easily. But with Nightfire, it was on PC and PlayStation 2, and you had to have a special extra bit for 4 players on PlayStation 2. You had that multi-tap thing. But I very much think that Nightfire had the potential to be as good as GoldenEye multiplayer. It just fell down because the hardware wasn't easy to do, if that makes sense. Multi-tap. Yeah, that's what it was called. Stayed up all night to play Nightfire. Do you remember that the Nightfire that had that, it was like a tank, or it was like a little helicopter, and you put down the briefcase and you could either drive the tank or fly the helicopter around. And I guarantee you did what I did, because I used to play that game with my brother all the time. And we would play on the skiing map, and there was like a cable car that ran between 2 points on the map, and you would have one person at the top trying to snipe the guy at the bottom, running up the kind of snowy hill. And then you got in, the snow map with the 2 houses and the rails. That was badass. I love that map. And you had that watch that had the little grappling hook on it that you could, climb things up. That was super cool. That was super, super cool. Really enjoyed that. That game deserved better. It really did. And if I remember, it had missions that you could complete in random ways if you wanted to. Like, you didn't need to fight or shoot your way through. You could, if you wanted to, do kind of stealth stuff. I'm sure I remembered that. Just got here, what did I miss? We're talking about Nightfire, the old James Bond game. But that question stemmed from how many channels do I have? The main MMORPG channel of JoshStrifeHayes, the retro gaming channel of JoshStrifePlays, the VOD recap channel of JoshStrifeReplays, because I had to keep everything rhyming, which is just these VODs uploaded in full with no cuts. Hello, if you're watching there, by the way. And then the channel that Visa runs, which is JoshStrifeSays, which is like the highlights, the actual funny bits. You guys are, you're here before anyone else is, because you're taking the risk that this entire stream might be crap. It might be absolute crap. You can't prove it won't be. And when Visa takes this stream and makes it really good, everyone else goes, oh wow, that guy's really funny. He's really witty. He's really clever. No. You're just seeing the gems. You're seeing the highlights. Yeah. If you want quality, you go and watch the Says channel. If you want quantity, I've got you. Yeah, thank you. Someone in the chat. You like to be whelmed. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. If you want to be, yeah, overwhelmed, go and watch the clip channel. Just endless funny. If you want to be underwhelmed, go and watch all of my old vlogs on my own channel. Not as good as you'd think. You want to be whelmed? Stay here. I'm gonna deliver exactly what I say I'm gonna deliver. Visa actually did a really good job. I know he was in the chat. Hi, Visa. He did a really good job of going through and reclipping all of those old vlogs. And while I understand that the vlogs themselves don't necessarily have the most entertaining or engaging content, I don't regret making them, because to me, making those vlogs was a really important step in the process of becoming all the things I needed to become to have a YouTube channel, becoming a video editor, becoming a filmographer, becoming a writer, it was the discipline of doing it. That's what it was. So some people say to me, oh, Josh, those vlogs didn't make any money. They took absolutely ages to make. And I said the point of them was to find the discipline to do something every day. Even if they weren't good, I needed to get my phone out my pocket, film something, get home, upload it, and then, carry on with the day. It was about getting into the routine of doing it, and I learned so many shortcuts. I learned how to name files so I can find them quicker. I learned how to upload things faster. I learned how to edit. And I think that's one of the best things to do. Sometimes people forget that the process itself, or going through the process, is a really important part of getting better at something. Now, here's an example. When I was in school, I didn't quite get why the teachers were teaching a lot of the lessons they were, and I would question a lot of stuff. And I remember being given lines to write. When you would write a sentence out, and then underneath you would write it again, underneath you would write it again. And I just learned that day. When you're a kid and you learn something and suddenly you try to apply it to everything. I just learned that day, for some reason, that if you put 2 little vertical dashes when you're writing something, it means copy the word above. Like if you're taking notes quickly in something and you just want to write the same word again, you just put 2 dashes, it means the word above. So I wrote the one sentence out, and then just the entire page, I just did dashes on it. And in my mind, I kind of went, this is what they want. They want me to write out a piece of paper that says this thing on it 20 times. This is what they want. I have given them a piece of paper that says this thing on it 20 times. Therefore, I have achieved what they want me to do. Because in my mind, nobody ever actually explains to me, Josh, it's not about giving me the piece of paper that has the information on it, because the teacher doesn't need that. It's about me as a student physically repeating the process of writing in order to get better at writing. And that was something that I didn't understand for a hell of a long time. So when I was making these videos, I said to myself, right, the value is in the process. The value is not necessarily going to be in the result. The value is in going through the process. And that's super important, because I see so many young people wanting to be YouTubers and Twitch streamers and influencers, and all they want to do is be in a position where they can immediately reap the rewards of being in that position. They don't want to go through the process of making mistakes and learning. It's the same with music and art. Yeah, Anaka, you got it spot on there. Like, if you give someone a guitar and say, play, you need to actually learn to play it by repeating the same things again and again and again and again and again. And eventually it kind of goes in, you're like, right, I've got this now. What's the situation with the bank? Hey, we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there. I'm going to edge you for a while, okay? 45 minutes maybe, 50 minutes. Then the bank will be unleashed. Okay, we're going to get there. The bank incident. Visa's already titling this clip. That bank video did really... In fact, you know what? I was on the Path of Exile subreddit because I was doing my my usual thing that I do on Reddit in the evenings, which is where I search for my own name and then scroll through and respond to all the positive comments about me and ignore all the negative ones, which is pretty standard YouTuber stuff. But I was... I don't do that. I just happen to see my name sometimes in comments. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? No, I legit don't. But I was scrolling through the Path of Exile subreddit and somebody mentioned about bank tabs, and one of the comments was, at least it's not as bad as this, and it linked to the video that Visa put on JoshStrifeSays of my original Path of Exile bank reveal, and I just commented on that saying I will not apologise, and that spawned a conversation. Visa, I would advise against calling this clip the edging incident, because in English that means something else. Now, I was just hoping to say that as like a throwaway comment, and a couple of people in the chat would laugh at it. It would be like a funny moment we'd all share. There'd be a little ha-ha, bit of a titter. But now I'm thinking that maybe I'm in a position where I have to explain what that means to you. And I don't think I can do that in a way that won't get me banned. You know? Are you taking the piss out of me saying a bit of a titter? All right, I'm sorry that I'm painfully middle class. All right? Painfully so. That's what it is. I actually said gosh yesterday. Like, legitimately, without even meaning to. There was a moment after I said it. I was shopping. I was in a shopping centre, and I saw like a pack of Jaffa cakes, and the cost was like £2.50, which is ridiculously expensive. And I went, gosh. And then I kind of caught myself, and I'm like, Josh, what the fuck, man? You used to be cool. No, I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it. I never plan on having kids, but, you know, mentally, I'm very much in my DILF arc. And I need to understand that now. I think the jumpers did something to me. I think wearing too many jumpers has permanently rewired something. And that's just because, you know, the house that I moved into, there's a thermostat now. And every single time I walk past it, I look at it, and I just twist it a little bit. A little tiny bit. A little bit. Neither up nor down. Just a little bit. I'll tell you how much of a middle-class gent I'm becoming. I was... Okay, so I was going to say I was securing a load the other day, but you need to understand that I'm actually literally talking about transporting goods on a truck from A to B. Okay? So I was using the kind of clampy things, you know, the ratchet straps, and I put the ratchet strap around something, I ratcheted it together, it was very, very, very strong and very tight, and do you know what I did? I nearly didn't do it, but I thought, if I don't do this, that might go somewhere. So after ratcheting it solid, I slapped it twice, and I said, that's not going anywhere. And I realized after I'd done it that I had become a cliche, because that's just what you have to do. Because if I hadn't have said that, it might have gone somewhere. Let's be real. It may have done. I've got to the point now where if I'm with a group of people and I'm sitting down and I need to leave, I will slap the top of my thighs and say, right, before I stand up. Because that is my signal to everyone else. If you're English, you understand this. That is the signal that it is time to leave. You need to go now. That's it. What I love is, I love that there are these kind of universal signals that we all understand and we all know exactly what they mean. We all share them. Like when someone does that, you know what it means. Germans do it with everything. You know what I love about, this was actually when I was in, I think it was when I was in Ghent, in, I want to say Brussels. And look at me. Look at my goodness. Globe-trotting. Jet setting all over the world. I can't remember whether it's Brussels or Belgium or there was another, Bulgaria. That was the one. They all begin with B. They're all very similar. But what I loved about hanging out with the Germans is that you do not need to read between the lines with them at all. Most Germans, they're super friendly, but they have absolutely no time for small talk, which as a British person at the start is quite, you know, quite jarring. Because a lot of British people, we have this very kind of flowery language, a lot of small talk. We don't always say what we need. German people, when I was hanging out with them in the event, they will literally walk up and go, right, we need to go now. And they just go. They won't stop. They won't wait. They'll just stand at me like, I am tired, and just leave. And I'm like, yo, God, I admire that. There is no ambiguity at all about what they do or do not want. Like, reading between the lines, it's such efficiency. Like, seriously. I mean, I know there's that whole joke about German efficiency, but they are very efficient in social situations. Because there are sometimes you hang out with people and reading between the lines is just, oh, it's draining. Not with the Germans. With the Germans, they know exactly where the lines are and they write perfectly on them. There are no messages between the lines because if there needed to be, there'd be more lines. That's how it works. Just say you want to leave and go. Yeah. No, I love it. I respect that. There's a lot of respect. People have also asked me if I put a loot filter on Path of Exile, and I tried the built-in loot filter, but it doesn't actually filter things. It just makes some things appear different to some other things. You know, it just makes the rare items a bit bigger and the common items a bit smaller. And I wasn't about that life. To me, it's very much part of the process of playing the game is you need to go through every item on screen and see if it's an improvement. You do need to. Because I think it was the famous philosopher Keatings that said, life is a roller coaster. You just got to ride it. And the roller coaster element of this is you've got the ups and downs of the game, but the downtime, the chill, the relaxing, that's when you're going through all of the things. So you've got the crazy, fast-paced. Someone just said, "Oh God, why do I watch you?" Because the selection on Twitch is terrible, and I don't think Dug's live. That's it. I know my audience. I understand that. Can I just also point out that I watched a video where Dug made an AI respond to his emails, and it was possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like, it was brilliant. I had to pause the video and cry with laughter. If you guys haven't seen that, it is way funnier than anything I'm going to say today. So I will not be offended if you just leave and go and watch that. It is one of the funniest things on YouTube, without a doubt. Okay, bye. Do it. Like, I wouldn't even be annoyed. Just literally go and watch that. It is fantastic. That is content, without a doubt. You should stop playing games and react to that video. I mean, maybe one day when I look into it, but right now I'm a bit too addicted to this game. It's okay, there's still room for me on the third monitor. That's how you know that I've made it. I am happy that some people would have got second monitors for Christmas and or New Year, because they're going to love my content. You know, and they couldn't watch it before. So I feel like a huge world has opened up to them. I feel like they don't realize how bad many MMOs are, and they're going to discover it. 4 monitor gang here. I'm sorry, NASA. Didn't realize that you were taking a break from whatever you guys do now to just watch this. In like a totally honest, genuine way, what does NASA do now, seeing as they kind of gave up going to the moon? Like, I know it's much more expensive to do now and stuff, but do they just like hang around and talk about the time they went to the moon? Space shit. You know what? It's on me for asking, isn't it really? It's totally on me for asking. They just do space shit all the time. Search for hot aliens in the galaxy. Oh, you know what? We haven't had a good discussion on like moon conspiracy theories before, so I feel that we should. I feel there's a lot of clips potentially in that. Because, as we all know, the Flat Earth Society has members all around the globe, which is one of the best comedy lines ever written. I very much appreciate that. Someone said, "Oh no, don't worry, I'm going to keep this on track. We're going to edge our way toward the bank reveal while talking about this kind of stuff." Everyone knows the moon is not real. See, the moon landings were actually faked and filmed on a soundstage, but they were filmed by Stanley Kubrick, who is such a perfectionist, he actually insisted the soundstage be built on the moon, which halfway through filming they all realized was somewhat superfluous, and they may have just filmed on set anyway. But no, it turns out that gravity on the moon is remarkably similar to gravity in real life, and they needed to add all those kind of bouncy steps and springs to make it look like the moon. You know how, like, when you're trying to film a horse on camera, you don't use a horse, you use a painted cow because it doesn't look like a horse. You have to use a cow because it looks more like a horse. You know how when you hear an eagle cry on film, it's not actually an eagle, that's just a really angry seagull, because the cry of an eagle sounds different. It's like the MCM lion that roars out the front. That's not actually a lion's sound, that is a tiger sound, and that is legit. You can go and check that one. But no, there are a couple of things where when you put them on film, they don't look right. So yeah, when they filmed the astronauts on the moon walking around, they didn't look like they were on the moon. They just looked like they were walking around pretending to be on the moon. So they had to build a soundstage on the moon, complete with like bouncy springs and trampolines and stuff. And that's where they filmed that. Have I left the temple again? I'm bad at this. Hang on. Find the sun orb. It's in this temple somewhere. You just turned into background noise. Yes, thank you, Keanu. That's all I ever try and be. I understand my place in the YouTube hierarchy. Yeah. Yeah, it's like they don't look right. That's what it is. The eagle thing is also real, but it's not a falcon. It's a falcon, not a seagull. Ah, see, that's another thing. Falcons don't sound like falcons. Falcons actually sound like really angry sparrows, and sparrows then sound like seagulls. It's a whole thing with it. It's no bird sounds like you would expect it to sound. Need to rewatch Seabiscuit for the cow racing. Falcons aren't real. They're just angry painted seagulls. Yeah. I mean, we were talking about NASA. Let's get back to the serious stuff, okay? The serious things. What have NASA done? Because I'm going to be real. I think they went to the moon and then they've been resting on those laurels for a while. You know, NASA, you guys need to go somewhere else. You guys need to go to the sun. That's what that is. That would impress. That would get people back. You know? People are saying, it's made of fire. Go at night. When it's colder. Be totally safe. Josh is trying to kill NASA. I don't think I could kill NASA. Stop complaining about the bank yet. No. We will get to the bank eventually. Worry not. The bank is coming. But first of all, I must throw angry skulls at things. All I'm looking for is anything orange, which is unique, or anything with 6 slots. I need a 6-slotted chest. Now, I might not get a 6-link chest. I'm fully aware of that. But 6 slots will be fine, and then we can just throw an absolute ton of link orbs at it until it works. That's fine. Let's get back to the real conspiracy. It wasn't even our moon that the moon landing was shot on. It was a moon of Saturn that was used for the shoot. It was cheaper to get there. It was much cheaper to get there. Look down, you'll find a hairy chest. I mean, this chest... I was going to make like a 6-pack, 6-link joke there, but no, let's be real. It's after Christmas. It's now just one big pack. We need to get back to the gym, sort my diet out, drink more water, that kind of stuff. You've got your summer fling and your winter cling. And right now, this be clinging. But don't you worry. Got the treadmill all set up. Gonna get some calorie control stuff going on. The holiday pack. That's what it is. It's weird. I don't normally eat my own body weight in cheese during any other holiday. But during Christmas, it feels like you kind of have to. Nothing ever makes me think I have absolutely 100% got to eat this entire block of cheddar. Any other time of year. Christmas, I feel like it's a civic duty to do it. It's the holiday sampler pack. Yes, it most definitely 100% is. So there's nothing good there. I'm actually excited to see what the final boss is like, 'cause I've never actually seen the final boss of this game. It is delicious. The cheese isn't going to eat itself. Why aren't gyms lobbying to make years shorter so they get more money more often on New Year's? Are we going to get in some conspiracy theories about Big Jim? And by that I mean the gym kind of business arc. I don't mean there's one dude just called Big Jim who just believes all the conspiracy theories. You know what? No, let's go with that. That sounds way better. Let's talk about Big Jim. the conspiracy theory man. He just believes everything he's ever been told. Why does England not have pakora in takeaways? Okay, so I did go shopping in Iceland recently, and I did buy some of the pakora covered chicken strips, and they are amazing. It is just straight up the best coating of chicken. It is crispy, it is delicious, it is fantastic. I am not sponsored, but I swear to God, Iceland, if you guys might not even know what a Twitch is, but if any of you work for Iceland, and by that I mean the shop, not the country. I know it's a little bit weird that we have a shop just called that. I've discovered that my American friends think it's really funny that they have the dollar store and we have a shop called Poundland. Now, as an English person, you don't often think that's that funny until you take a second to think about it, and then it is actually hilarious. But I'm not even joking, because the English money, it's not a dollar, it's a pound. So you guys have the dollar store, and we have either Poundland or Pound World. Basically the same shop. But if any of you work for Iceland, not the country, the shop that sells frozen food, I will sit down with you and we will hash out a sponsorship deal, because my God, Iceland home delivery, that's what it's about. Other Twitch streamers talk about drama. There are so many Twitch channels out there right now that are talking about actually cool stuff. You know, cool, hip, happening things. And I'm sat here going, home delivery from Iceland is actually remarkably affordable and very efficient. And I think it's, if you've got a big enough freezer to store all of the chicken that you can afford from it, the deals are quite good. £3.50 for a bag of coated chicken is a remarkably good deal. Yeah. So I feel I should take sponsorships from companies that, like, I would save money if I didn't have to pay. That would be good. There's not even an ad. How do I feel about farm foods? Pretty much the same. Pretty much just straight up exactly the same. Hang on, let's go through this portal and kill this boss. Let's summon my entire army of skeletons. I do love that I've pretty much trivialized so much content by just shooting everything with 1,000,000 skulls. I like this. Do you think Aldi and Lidl are the same? A real talk. I have never seen an Aldi and a Lidl in the same place. I come here because nobody else can segue from moon conspiracies to cheese. There's actually a very strong link there, and it is hinted at in the classic documentary Wallace and Gromit. We all know the moon is made of Wensleydale. It's true. It's a 100% true fact that you get taught in England. So I need to go to there. So the Lunaris concourse should take us there. The moon is, of course, made of cheese. We all know that. Where can I find out more about the Bulgarian MMO? Oh, Scars of Honor. So Scars of Honor, which is the Bulgarian MMO being made by Beast Burst Entertainment, is, in my professional opinion, right now, not far enough along to really need my level of critique. And that's what I said to them. I straight up said that. When I was playing the basis, I said, look, you've got a foundation. You've got a foundation, you've got an idea. You've got a base. But you have to understand that I am going to critique incredibly minute, specific stuff. And I don't yet think you are far enough along to need that level of critique. But you bring me back when you're further along, and then I can be much more specific. I needed to be honest with them, and the reason I needed to be honest with them was because I need to be honest with you. I think that they've got the passion, but right now they don't yet have the project hashed out to a level that it needs to be at. What are my thoughts on the middle aisles of Lidl and Aldi? Love it. Absolutely love it. So if you've not been to an Aldi or a Lidl before, treat yourself. You know, take the family out, take yourself out, go there one day. Basically, they're massive discount supermarkets that sell stuff that's actually remarkably good quality for a decent, affordable price. And not sponsored, I just think they are good stuff. In the middle of them, I mean, Lidl have embraced this, and then they now call it the middle of Lidl. You just get random stuff. Like, you'll walk down one week and it'll be golfing equipment with kayaks and some Harry Potter mugs. And the next week you'll go and it'll be camping, but also here is a drill that's made in some weird European country. I swear that they just go around random markets and buy up things that people are getting rid of en masse and then sell them. You never know what you're going to get when you go in, and I like that. Josh, do you stop midway during bedroom stuff and then critique your performances? That's a good question, Manly. So what I actually have is a complex series of charts and questionnaires that must be answered in a timely manner, often, because the most important thing of any kind of process, as you all know, is data. And I am a very data-driven person. So after any kind of liaison, if you will, there is a 10-point questionnaire with an optional 20-point questionnaire after. That actually comes with a voucher for a free bottle of wine. It's a remarkably good bottle of wine. But yeah, I think that if you don't stop halfway through and question everything that's going on, what are you even doing? What is the point? I'm all about that data. That's what it's like. Analytics. It's the YouTuber inside me. It's the analytics. That's what it is. It's all about analytics. I mean, sometimes I'll look at the analytics of myself afterwards and be like, oh, only 2 minutes. That is not as long a retention time as normal. And that's just natural. That's what we all say. Which one of the Aldis do you have in Great Britain? Aldi North or... I don't know. I do not know. I like how we've transitioned from moon to cheese to analytically kind of critiquing yourself within the bedroom, and now we've gone back to mid-range supermarkets again. This is it. 2 minutes, stop bragging. Well, I mean, like, it takes 90 seconds for me to get undressed, so, I mean, that's what, 30 seconds remaining, so, I mean, we can go twice. Sometimes I just let these jokes sit for a second. Mainly because I want to see how Visa edits them. That's what it is. I like the JoshStrifeSays channel because watching it back is a lovely combination of thinking, I'm quite funny, and then thinking, why the fuck did I say that? And I never know what it's going to be when I open a video. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Does Lidl do thematic weeks? They do! Like, you can have food from France one week, food from Germany one week, food from America the next week. I like that. I think it's really good. What do I think about Iceland? Are we talking about the country or the shop? Because the shop I've already said very good things about. Most of my freezer is just frozen chicken from Iceland. I'm just reading the chat to catch up with what you guys want. Used to work in Lidl. I know how the cycle works. It's a decent shop. From what I've heard as well, they actually pay quite well. Really trip Visa up and just randomly say a word in the pineapple middle of your sentences. I love it. And then he'll call it the pineapple incident. Then there'll be a big thing about it. It'll be on Reddit. People will talk about it. It'll start memes. I'll sell pin badges and shirts. That's how it all works. I mean, I'm aware that I'm underutilizing a lot of the clout that I have. I'm fully aware that I could, you know, really monetize so much more of this stuff, and I don't do that because I don't do. Right, hang on. Kill Solaris and Lunaris. Right, let's just summon an entire army of skeletons. Here we go. I love the moving shadows with this. That is so badass. Let's just summon some more skeletons. The exit to Act 9 is now open. After the chocolate pizza, pineapple would not be surprising. I like pineapple on pizza. Is there any advice on how to break through the barrier for PoE? I've tried many times to get into it, but find myself overwhelmed very quickly, but I love seeing late game gameplay. That's a good question. I think we can answer that. We can make this serious for a second. Let's just be serious. Let's answer that question. It's a good idea. Let me just pick this chat to sin for a second, then I'll answer this. How to not be overwhelmed. Okay, 1% additional physical damage reduction and 6% while there is only one enemy nearby. Nope, I'm going to stay with 10% reduced damage taken over time. That just seems better. I'll stick with that. So, best way, I'm being serious about this, best way to not be overwhelmed by Path of Exile is to stop caring that you're not 100% efficient. Just straight up stop caring. The items that I've got are not efficient. I've probably ran past 7 or 8 items that, had I have picked them up and equipped them, would have been a 1 or 2% increase over the DPS that I'm doing now. But the question I ask myself is this: am I doing enough damage to kill the enemy, and do I have enough defense to not die? When it, becomes obvious that I'm not killing the enemy as fast as I want to, then I start picking up weapons and seeing if I can upgrade. When I start dying quicker than I would like to, then I start looking at picking up items and trying to increase my defense until I get back to a level where I'm comfortably running through stuff. The level up table, this kind of chart here, the skills, this is overwhelming. This is very overwhelming, without a doubt, and I do think that there should be another way to present this to a player that isn't initially as overwhelming. So what I do is I use the search function, which is the best thing they've added so far. So right now I need more elemental resists, so I type in resist, and then suddenly everything that can do resist just starts flashing. And I found one down here that says plus 12% to all elemental resistances. So sweet, I'm just going to start building toward that one. That is the plan. That's how I'm going to do that. Is it perfect? No. Can it be better? Probably. Am I surviving? Yes. That's the best way to look at it. If you approach Path of Exile with the knowledge that you need to optimize every single thing you do, every situation, you need to sell every object, talk to every NPC, you will be completely overwhelmed. So the best thing to do is to pick up the stuff that you know is useful, ignore the stuff that potentially isn't, and then when you need to start upgrading stuff, then you start hunting for things. Don't min-max the fun out of your own game. You only need to say, is this good enough for now? And when you get really far into the game, then you'll know. Then you'll know when to start picking up other stuff. You'll know what's useful and what's not. But honestly, the best way right now is just stop caring too much. Hey Josh, what's the best way to deal with a breakup? Oh, I love it. Also, I am playing solo self-found, and when I say I love it for the breakup, I mean that I love having a serious question we can get into. I don't love the fact that you have broken up. Let's talk about this, guys. What is the best way to deal with a breakup? I mean, are you looking for like a comedy, silly, funny answer, or are you looking for genuine, heartfelt advice? Because the genuine, heartfelt advice is going to vary massively depending on person to person. Both, clearly. Well, obviously, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else. We know that. But if you want to talk about how to actually deal with it, if two people want to go through their lives together, then those two people need to gel together. They need to work together. They need to be, complementary to each other's lives. If you're breaking up, what you're effectively saying is that right now who you are is not complementing who I am. And that's not necessarily a slight on either of you. I might pick up a sword in this game that's really good for a, ice build, but I've got a flaming skull build. Doesn't mean the sword's bad. Doesn't mean I'm bad. It means that if you put what we both bring to the table together, it doesn't enhance to create something better. So one of the best ways to deal with a breakup is to work out what you bring to the table and how you can make that better, and then work out why you didn't work. What was it that was the mistake? What was not complementing the other side? And sometimes you'll sit back and you'll say, you know what? There was no one in the wrong here. We both did our best. We're both good people. We just don't complement with the builds that we've got right now. Sometimes you'll sit back and go, actually, I could have done this better. You could have done that better. We could have done this better. And that's absolutely fine. That works as well. But I think introspection is one of the best things you can do. Just introspections, man. Ask yourself, why did this or did this not work? Because I've met people and they say every single X they have is crazy. Oh, all of my X's are crazy. Okay, well, the consistent thing here is you. So, have you maybe, not victim blaming, but have you kind of looked inside? Have you self-reflected with this? Because if every single person you date is crazy, you've either got terrible taste or you are trying to force your style to work with another style that you might find attractive but doesn't work. And that's the honest way of looking at that. Because you can be attracted to certain traits that you know that you actually don't work well with. And yes, we are still talking about Path of Exile, straight up. I mean, the Path of Exile build is very similar to a full-on relationship. As in, you can find things that work, you can find things that don't work, or you can just be solo. And everything is your fault. That works too. Because I have a very strong opinions about dating. And the reason I have strong opinions about dating is because when I was working in schools for so long, so many young boys follow the advice of absolute shitheads like Andrew Tate. And unfortunately, they are the role models that young kids look up to. They are the people that scared, naive, worried, impressionable people look up to, and they think that is the paragon of being a man. That is the paragon of virtue. That is an admirable quality to have in a human being, and I don't believe it is. They are angry, they are scared, and what they are looking for is an answer. They're looking for someone to tell them that they are not wrong, the world is. They should scare the world into working with them. They should beat the world into their way of thinking. When the actual truth is, most people haven't got a clue what's going on, and that's totally okay. How Andrew Tate became a role model is beyond me. Unfortunately, and this is the crazy thing, it's not beyond you. It just, you need to accept that people are scared. They really are. I mean, most people have no idea what their place is in the world. Most people have no idea how to talk to people they find attractive. Most people are socially anxious. Most people don't believe that they're anywhere near the level of kind of financial independence that they want to be or should be or deserve to be. People believe the world owes them stuff. And when you don't get your way, it's very hard to say this is my fault. But when someone comes along and says, hey, it's not your fault, it's everyone else's fault, that's comfortable. Most people will prefer a beautiful lie over an uncomfortable truth. And when the beautiful lie is telling someone that nothing is your fault, you are perfect as you are, the world needs to adapt to you, then you're going to convince a hell of a lot of people to follow your way of thinking, which sucks. It really does suck. And this is why I've got such strong opinions about it, because I've seen so many people in schools, in colleges, in universities be convinced by effectively emotional charlatans that you need to trick people into liking you. You need to emotionally manipulate the people in your life into believing you are certain ways, or you're doing this. I mean, I've had female friends who have unfortunately had many encounters with guys, pickup artists and whatnot, try all their techniques out, and they never work. And I've even had people say to me before, get your woman under control. What are you on about? I don't control anyone. I'm with people as friends, as relationships, as, professional partners. I'm with people. I spend time with people because I value how that person sees the world, and I believe they bring positivity to my life in general. Now, I'm not saying be toxically positive. We don't want toxic positivity. Not everything is happy, shiny roses all the time. There are times when you need to sit down and have serious heart-to-heart conversations about negative things. But, and this is very important, while the process of talking to someone about things that scare you or worry you may be painful, it is not destructive. That's a great line, and I didn't come up with that. I stole that from a song by the band The Flowbots. I believe the song is called Anne Braden, and it's a fantastic song about one of the first women in America back in, I want to say, the 1930s that really stood up against segregation. It was a fantastic song, but she said, while this is a very painful process, it is not destructive. So this comes back to the whole dating advice thing. The question you need to ask, and this is This is the... People say, you know, how can I get someone to date me? And I think that's the wrong question. The question should be, how do I become someone worth dating? Because that way you're putting the onus onto you. You're not saying, hey, I'm going to trick someone. You're saying, right, how do I improve? How do I be this person? Because if you live like the okay, right, we'll address the bank, shall we? Shall we address the bank and then we'll get back to dating advice? I want to be... This is a roller coaster of a stream, remember. We go up, we go down. We have emotional moments, we have non-emotional moments. Let's address the bank. I'm going to move the chat so you guys can understand. Those of you who have been here before will understand exactly what this bank is trying to do. Let me talk you through it. Tab 1, stackable things. If it has a number to the top left or it can be stacked, it goes in the stackable things tab. See? Stackable things in here. You might notice that I have tried to stack these things and they are not stacking because we are now out of space. Okay, not a problem. Tab 1, stackable. Tab 2, miscellaneous. This is where some stackable things go. Apparently that one. Also some gems. Possibly a greater gem, like that one just there. That's a pretty good large cluster jewel. We've also got a single unidentified jade amulet. Don't know why that's there. Not going to change it. So, tab 1, stackables. Tab 2, I believe that was miscellaneous. Tab 3, other. Other is more gems, some maps, and some 6 slotted items that I don't want to throw away that might be important. Anything go here? Let's have a look. No. No more space there. So, stackable, miscellaneous, other. Tab 4, uniques. Now, this is important. Uniques. Everything in this tab is unique, apart from that, which is rare. And... no, they are all unique. Everything in here is unique. Cool. All uniques, apart from the single rare spirit shield. Now, you might say, Josh, why do you need 2 cragheads? That's a pretty obvious answer. I've also got the Katava's Thirst down there, which I have a duplicate of in another tab, and the Thrill Steel, which I have a duplicate of in another tab, and there is a Life Sprig up there, which I actually have 2 duplicates of, because you need 3. Someone said, why? Obvious. Okay, look, you've got 2 hands. You can hold 2 wands, 2 Life Sprigs. What happens if you lose one? Then you need a spare. So, tab 4, uniques. Tab 5s, uniques. See? Every unique that I pick up is going in here, all being saved. Another Life Sprig. Up here, we've got 2 Dodari's Elixirs. Pretty much the same. Am I going to get rid of them? No. Down here, some good stuff. See, some good stuff. Tab 6, gems. Now, the gem tab is full. And a single Ursine Charm, which I cannot use on this build because I have not taken that Wildwood specialization. So, tab 6, gems and charms. Tab 7, gems, in brackets, overflow, end brackets, / divine pages. All these little page things here, little cards you can get. See? But why no currency tab? They're all currency tabs. I've explained this earlier. If you buy the currency tab, you can only put currency in it, which is very limiting. If you buy the regular tabs, you put whatever you want in them, which is just so much more freeing. So, tab 7, gems / pages, kind of overflow. Tab 8, back to uniques. We had to have a unique break in the middle of it. So here we've got regular stuff, another Life Sprig, more uniques, some more things. That's not a unique, that is a Summon Ice Golem gem, because it cannot fit in the gem tab, because the gem tab, as we know, is full. Look, there's also a 6 link coat down there that I cannot wear because I do not have the dexterity to wear it. Which is irritating because my archer did, but my Templar does not. Right, then we go to tab 9, which is overflow for gems and some uniques that are very good. The Ghastly Theatre, I want to use this as a shield. The reason I can't use it is because I need to use the chromatic orbs to make it all blue tabs. I tried about 30 chromatic orbs, it did not work. It just kept giving it green and red tabs. I don't know why. We've got a couple of gems, we've got a few more uniques. That's a really good spirit shield. We have another kite shield. That might be useful. And some stackable stuff that doesn't fit in tab 1. I've also got a 6 slot but not linked holy chainmail, just in case we ever need that. Tab 10. This is, again, more gems that are overflowing, 2 blueprints that might be important in the future, some shields, and the equipment that I was originally wearing on my first Summon Raging Skull build that still has the orbs in it, along with some more unique rings and a flesh offering. And tab 11, as you all expect, is empty, because that's the overflow tab. So, it goes. Stackables. Miscellaneous, other, unique, gems, gems/pages, unique, gem overflow with unique, previous gear, empty. So now we can use it. Now we can actually put stuff away. See? Nothing in my inventory is stackable, apart from that thing. But this is full, so we go to other. That is also full, so we go to miscellaneous. That is also full, so we go to the overflow all the way at number 9. That's fine. Then we have some more stackable stuff. Yep, that fits in number 1 perfectly. We've got these little gems here. That's fine. They go in the gem slot, but I don't have any space. Go to 7. Gem overflow. Again, it's full. Go to 8. Uniques. Go to 9. Gem overflow. Stick them there. Kikazaru, Topaz Ring. Didn't actually get a chance to read this. Plus 10 to all attributes. That's pretty good. 25% increased mana regen rate, 6% reduced effective curses, regen 3 life per second per level. That's quite good. Okay, so let's just hang on. What have we got? We've got a Blood Twirl Bone Ring going on right now, and the Ring of All, the Iron Ring, which is 28 to all attributes. That again is good. That's quite good. So if I replace my Bone Ring, my minions would do less damage, but I would have ridiculous levels of life regen. So right now, my life regen per second is 151. If I place the Bone Ring, it goes up to 382. That's really good. Plus, the plus 10 to all attributes is always nice. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. So now we can sell, you know what, no, I might keep the Bone Ring, so I might need that in the future. So number 10, previous gear, that goes there. Right, I'm glad you've all explained that. I'm not explaining it again. I don't play this anymore, but you're making me want to buy more stash tabs. This is the best advert for stash tabs ever, because there is no way somebody could watch that and say, that's a good idea. But it works for me. Right, we were on about dating. Let's get back to discussing the process of dating. Hang on. Find the basilisk acid, find the tarthan powder. Where am I going? Top right. Oh yeah, back on the ascent thing. I was late. What's the bank issue? Right. Let's go back. We can do this again. Don't you worry. We'll go and do it all again. If you've been here before, you will hear that again in about an hour. My PC crashed and I missed the first part of the dating thing. Can I get to... So someone said, can you explain dating in the terms of MMORPGs? Of course I can. You can be the greatest tank ever. You can have the highest physical defense. But if the boss you're facing uses magic, you're not going to be much good. It doesn't mean that you're not a good tank. It means that you aren't prepared for this specific situation. So maybe don't try and force yourself into a group that only goes to kill that boss. You can find other groups that will work with you better. I found your bank... I'm afraid I cannot agree, Josh. I found your bank one of the most disgusting things I've seen in 32 years of life. Hang around, mate. It's going to get worse. It's going to get way worse. Dating in an... Okay, so dating in like an MMORPG terms, everyone wants to be a DPS. You have got influential men who are claiming that women only value and respect DPS. Women need more DPS. If you aren't doing as much DPS as every other man, you are a worthless man. Forgetting that actually, we kind of need more healers. And they're kind of always wanted. They're always needed. They don't always get the glory that the DPS gets, but sometimes you want to rock around with a healer instead. Okay, hang on, I can just, let's level up. And I wanted to level up. What was the thing I was training? Where was my defensive? There it was. Okay, so currently defenses are on... Sweet. We're actually over 100% every time, apart from chaos resistance, which is -4. That's going to hurt when I take on some bosses, but we will deal with that problem when we come to it. Instant healer queues, man. Instant healer queues. And what role am I? I am definitely a support bard, without a doubt. And I think the great thing about being a support bard is I'm the kind of class where people go, sorry Josh, this is a very small party. We only need people who have got very specific skills. And I'll go, I get it. But when they've got, okay, you know what, we've now got a few free spaces, then you can take me. And then at the end people go, oh yeah, that was actually really easy because of all the buffs that you gave us. That's pretty much what it is. Just buffing everyone else. That's what you've got to do. You don't need to be a tank, a damage dealer, or a healer. Find someone that's really good at doing that, and then just big them up so they get even better at doing it. That makes me happy. Do you recommend Path of Exile for a person who wants to play with a few friends? Yeah. I mean, just as long as you don't do solo self-found, you'll be okay. It's free, so it's fine. Unless you want to mess your bank up like I do, in which case it'll cost you about $10. So we were talking about the whole dating thing, and I really do think that there is a horrible reality in schools and colleges where so many people don't just talk to each other. They just don't communicate. It's so many problems can be solved with a brief, honest, genuine chat, but people are scared. There's a great article on Cracked, back when Cracked was funny, and I reread it every year, and I think it was 6 harsh truths that will make you a better person. And if you haven't read that article, I would definitely recommend you go and read it, because after reading it, you either kind of respond to it like, oh my god, that's awful, that's not about me, that's terrible, why would they say this about people? Or you reread it and you're like, yeah, I've learned from that. I've improved, and I have definitely improved. I was lacking in areas. I read that article. It put a lot of stuff into perspective for me, and I reread it every year because I think it's a great article. But one of them was just the notion that who you are in your own head is different to who other people see you being in real life. We judge other people by their actions, but we judge ourselves by our intentions. So as long as we intended to do something good, we are, in our heads, good. If somebody else intended to do something good but ends up doing something bad, they are, in our view, bad. Because intention doesn't matter when it comes to other people. Intention only matters when it's in relation to ourselves, which is a real shame. People can't get over that. This manifests itself most often in the famous phrase, but I'm a nice guy. If only she would give me a chance. I'm a nice guy. Okay, well done for meeting the bare minimum. Unfortunately, you don't get a medal for that. Whether you are a nice guy or not is actually not up to you to say. Or decide. I don't understand, please use MMORPG terms. I'm a world-class raider. Are you in a world-class raid group? No. But I could be. That's the MMO term for that. You don't get to decide whether you're a nice guy or not. What you have to do is treat people nicely, and other people will say this about you. And then it becomes a part of you, and then people know that about you. That's what it is. And what this is linking back to, as far as actions go, is we are seeing a great increase in the amount of people who very much believe that they need to say they are things instead of just being things. I mean, yeah, a man who has to say, I am a world-class raider is no world-class raider. I mean, Steven Seagal goes around bragging that he is a fantastic martial artist. I don't think Bruce Lee did too much of that. And I think Bruce Lee would win in a fight against Steven Seagal. And that's just me saying that. I think I would probably win in a fight against Steven Seagal. I think a slight incline at this point in time would probably win in a fight against Steven Seagal. But when you meet people who just go around talking about how amazing and fantastic and brilliant and incredible they are, or how much of a manly man they are, you tend to realize they aren't. What did I just tune into? Mostly bashing Steven Seagal, but also some Path of Exile. Kind of on the side. This is a stream that very much kind of walks that thin line between life advice and just taking the piss out of pop culture. It's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. And I enjoy being on that kind of razor's edge. You never quite know where we're going to go with this. I don't care about others' opinions, but I am a god. I love it. That attitude in the chat, fantastic. That is very, very Dennis energy from Always Sunny, which is one of the best shows ever written and is about terrible people. I had a friend of mine say, I don't like this show. None of the characters are likable. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. You're not meant to like these people. You're meant to hate them and watch them fail, which is very cathartic. So what we're talking about, I mean, you guys might have different experience to me, different opinions to me, that kind of stuff. And you might believe that I'm just completely talking up my arse and I'm wrong about all this, because I mean, it's been at least 1 or 2 years since I've been in a school to teach or a college to teach. Hopefully that has changed. What I saw back when I was teaching was a lot of kids are much more accepting of people's differences than they were before, but they're also much easier to manipulate in terms of who they think they should be. That kind of stuff. And this is mostly the whole kind of the manosphere thing, which is so weird. To me, that's very strange. Hang on, I'll just kill whatever this is. What age are the kids I was teaching? See, I've taught from infants all the way up to, you know, semi-pro, touring, university level kind of acting stuff. I think that, yeah, Zoomers, if we're going to refer to them that, makes me feel very millennial, is Zoomers are fantastic at making people feel involved and making people feel, you know, safe and inclusive, that kind of stuff. But I feel that we have lost a level of something there. And I think what we've lost is a level of being willing to challenge people when they are uncomfortable. And I don't mean, you know, traumatic levels of challenge, but I mean not accepting that something that scares you doesn't need to scare you forever. If you find something difficult, if you find something scary, if you find something hard to do, don't ignore it. Don't run away. Don't protect yourself. Don't insulate yourself from it forever. Find a way to take it on in a safe, controlled, and, you know, productive manner. Because some people will say, there's got to be a lovely middle ground between saying, I can't swim, therefore I'm never going to swim, and saying to someone, I can't swim, and them just pushing you in the deep end of the pool and being like, sink or swim, you're going to learn now. Because one of them, you avoid the problem forever and you never get better at it. And one of them, you take on the problem way too much in one go and it scares you even more because you don't know what to do. And swimming is an example I use a lot about talking about improving life in general. Because no matter how many books you read on how to swim, no matter how much theory you know about how to swim, the moment you jump in the water and it's cold and wet and some of it goes up your nose and you start to choke and you start to cough and you flail around and suddenly your clothes, if you're still wearing them, are a hell of a lot heavier than you expected them to be and your eyes start stinging, the theory cannot prepare you for the practical that you will undergo when you try and take this on. So there needs to be a lovely middle ground between avoiding something forever because it scares you and taking something on with, you know, way too much speed and way too much energy without being prepared, But there also needs to be a level of understanding that when you theoretically understand something, you might not practically understand something. Because intelligence is being book smart, and wisdom is knowing how to apply that intelligence to stuff in ways that actually make practical differences. So one thing that I think that and this all links back to the school system, I believe that many, many, many years ago, the school system was way too in favour of just throwing people into situations that were scary, traumatic, and didn't actually teach them stuff, because the teachers had this very, well, that's how I learned mentality. All the kind of boomer adults had the, well, I struggled, so you have to struggle kind of mentality, which does not teach everyone everything. It's not always productive. But then we go too far the other way, which is, oh, that scares you, that worries you, it's okay, I will insulate you from it forever, and you will never have to take it on, and you'll never deal with it. Because I believe that's actually the origin story of some part of Buddhism, which is the story of Siddhartha, how they were effectively insulated from any level of pain and suffering in life ever. And the first time they ever actually saw a flower dying, they didn't understand that life had an end. And that scared them so much, they started meditating on all that kind of stuff. But there very much needs to be a balance between throwing people into dangerous situations to teach them about it and coddling people away from dangerous situations so they never learn to get better at it. Some people think that failing is the worst thing in the world, and I believe this is a fault mostly, and I'm going to make some enemies here, I believe this is mostly a fault of parents who do not want their precious little angels to ever fail. You cannot fail this person. They've got anxiety. They cannot fail. Okay, well, I've been a teacher before. I've read through anxiety reports. I've read through all of the extracurricular stuff we have to put people on. And actually, exposure to failure is one of the best ways to slowly normalize this as a part of life, and is one of the best ways to alleviate that anxiety. When people realize that actually, if you're scared of something but you never experience it, you build this thing up in your mind to be an unreal nightmare, a creature, an absolute behemoth of a problem. But when you experience it and you're thinking, well, that was it? That was all it was? Okay, cool, now I can just move on. I failed way more times than I've ever attempted anything. If you build something up, humans are scared of what they don't understand. They're scared of what they don't know. You don't need to put a creature in the dark. You just need to put someone in the dark and wait for them to imagine a creature. Because that is way worse than anything you could ever put there. It's why the best part of Alien at the first film is when you don't see the alien. So kids and parents encouraging these kids think that the concept of failure is so bad that it must never ever be experienced. And therefore the kids start to see failure as the worst thing. They don't even understand what failure means. They think that if you have failed at something, you are the world's worst person. When actually it's just, I mean, there was that old cheesy poster, fail first attempt in learning, that kind of stuff. But actually, failure is just a process. It's just part of the process that you go through. It's, I mean, Thomas Edison famously said, I didn't fail, I just found 100 ways that didn't work. And he said this after stealing most of the work from Nikola Tesla. So he's probably not the best example to use in this. But most people don't know too much about that whole situation. Josh, your bank sucks. When's it going to change? Never. I'll change my bank when I bother putting a loot filter on, which is I'm not doing either. You know, the reason that parents annoy me with this is I've had conversations with parents before and they've said, oh, you said that my child failed. I'm like, yeah, they did. Like, well, that's not acceptable. I'm like, what? Do you want me to say they succeeded when they didn't? They're like, yes. I'm like, okay, so you care more about their emotional state being coddled than actually teaching them the skills to exist in this world. And unfortunately, yeah, that's exactly what they care about. I survived that, but I shouldn't have, so I'm very happy that I did. Oh, hang on, plus 8% to all elemental resistances. This could be good. Oh, damn, this is good. Hang on. Okay. So currently I've got 1,283 on my armor. This is more armor. It's increased maximum life. Maximum life's there. Regenerate 31 life per second. Irrelevant. Now I've got the ring. Increased stun and block recovery. Don't care. But the 8% to all elemental resistances, that's decent. Especially if I load that up with some quality stuff. Now I know it's only a plus 11 to maximum life. I don't care. That's fine. That'll do. Because remember that I've also got, this is why things work well together. I have got the Oath of the Magi, which means, check this out, okay? Defenses from equipped body armor are doubled if it has no socketed gems. So, we return. Then I grab some armorer. Armorer's orbs, armorer's scraps. I have also discovered that if you right click on a scrap and then hold shift, you can now click repeatedly on something. Cool. I didn't know that. Now I know that. I've learned. But you'll notice that I currently have defense 5,105. Put this on 5,969. Nice. You know defense just means armor, evasion, energy shield, and not resistances or life. I do, which is why resistances, we've got 117% fire resistance, 145 cold, and 122 lightning. We've not got chaos resistance, but don't worry about that. That's fine. Not a problem. But what I can do now is I can sell that and that. I don't need to worry too much about regenerating 31 life a second when I'm regenerating 350 a second. And I have also got the really good plank, the Springleaf Plank Kite Shield, which gives me an extra 32 per second. That's pretty good. Slap some crafter armor on that. I could do, but I'm not going to because I don't know how to. Let me just sell these things. Stormblade we kind of need. So I can go down here. Is this the part we complain about your stash? You can try. You will not be the first. Ooh, things. I don't care. I'm going to sell you. What a power move, taking a gift and just selling it right back to the same person. That's an absolute power play right there. You are a page, which means you don't go here. You go in the other place. Can I stick any of you there? I can. Pages, however, go on number 7. Perfect. You go on the number 9s. Oh, can't get rid of you because apparently you are a story thing, so you're going to stay there for a while. Is the stash chaos or organized chaos? Yes. It's not a mess. It's a very organized, delicate ecosystem of items. Have you played Monster Hunter? I have not. How can I keep track of this? Skill, mostly. Endless levels of skill. Right, so let's do some more stuff. Kill Kira and save Oyen. Some of these are like actual story missions that I need to do, and some of them are just... It seems that everything needs me to go there. So, Vistiri Desert and then go north. Have I played Vermintide or Darktide? I've played both of them. And I'm very excited for Warhammer the Old World. I will be buying all of the Empire models and rebuilding all of my cool cannons and multi-shotguns. Do I realise how much more pain you could cause if you upgraded my stash tabs? I will do that at some point. Don't worry. That will happen. You know, little steps. Baby steps. Have I considered Monster Hunter? I've considered playing all these games. The problem is that I only have a limited amount of time in the day. And the games that everyone wants me to play all the time, I am often very busy. Mostly playing this game. Same thing with quad stash tabs. Yeah, I could do that. I want you to play Path of Exile. Well, now I'm not going to do it. What am I most excited to play? I'm most excited to retire and play Baldur's Gate 3. That's what I'm excited to do. Can't wait for that to happen. It's going to be a couple of years, but oof, when it does... Man, I can't wait to see what people have been going on about. I've heard it's pretty good. First thing I do when I retire, when I'm like 70. I'm like, oh, time to see what this Astarian chap's all about. We complain about Josh's bank now, but one day I'll fix it and then you'll miss it. When people come to me and say that Path of Exile is overwhelming and stuff, there is a freedom in not trying to optimize. I was watching a documentary, I forget which one it was recently, but the guy basically said to the dude he was interviewing, "Why are you doing it this way?" And the guy said, "Because it's slower." That was his actual answer, because it's slower. And it's not efficient, it's not fast, wasn't the best way to do it, but he knew that if he did the best way to do it, it would constantly and forever be a process of always trying to find the next best way. You can absolutely optimize the fun out of a game. And there are far more streams that are playing far more efficiently than I am. They've probably finished the game by now. I haven't, and that's okay. What are my thoughts on the Warhammer live action stuff? As long as Henry gets it right, we're all behind him. You know, he's led the nerds. He's done well. As soon as he... We believe in him. We do believe in the Cavs. Sin destroy his corrupted daughter, the goddess Shikari. Is she the one where her hips don't lie? It might be. Let's try and find her. Isn't he a World of Warcraft fan? He is. In fact, there's a famous story of when he was offered the Superman role, he missed the phone call because he was playing World of Warcraft. And when he finally got the phone call again, he said, "Sorry I missed you. I was saving someone's life." Because he plays a healer. Because of course he does. Which I appreciate. I have finally finished, well, I say finally finished, I have started the process of fixing the tabs. Oh my god. My brain just went full mixture. Fixing the tabs, fixing the IKEA shelves behind me. Someone said that I organise my life in a grid-based inventory system, and it's true, I do. Most things behind are now on Kallax units, because Kallax units are fantastic. But I will share it with you at some point. As soon as it's ready. It's not ready yet. It's still being cooked. But that's what the kids say, isn't it? Let him cook. Oh, yeah. By the way, if any of you are in school, college or university, teachers are absolutely aware of memes, and we actively decide to kill them by using them. That's what it is. If you ever hear a teacher use a meme wrong, they're not using it wrong. They're using it exactly... Is that it? Is that the thing again? No, sorry, when I was in the Wildwood, I got attacked by the incarnation of, like, fear or chaos or something, like a really big tree. And I nearly killed it. And then it ran away, which is super annoying. But no, so absolutely, teachers 100%, we know exactly what we're doing when we say all that kind of stuff. Incarnation of Agony, that was the one. See, stupidly, I tried to melee it because I didn't think it would be that hard. Turns out it's very hard to kill. Like, really hard. So I died. A lot. Come forth, skeleton army. Alright, cool. They're all dead. The NPCs even tell you to run away. Yeah, but I just thought they were cowards. Turns out they knew what they were on about. The tree is something else that drops charms. One of my classmates... I know about that. How many minions do I have? So I actually got an award on Steam a few days ago for having 60 minions active at a time. Apparently you get an award called Army or something like that. But as standard, I've got 2 Wraiths. I have got a Carrion Golem. Apparently I've got some Wolves. I don't know where they came from. But I've got some Wolves. And I've got a lot of Skulls. And I've got a lot of Skeletons. Vile Skeletons, that's what I've got. That can indeed summon 35 in one go for me currently, which is pretty good. I'll take 35 Skeletons. I want to find the Incarnation of Agony again, because I want to kill it. Do Raging Skulls count as summons? Yes, they do. So anything you've got that says, you know, your minions do more damage, yes. Works for them. That's why I'm just throwing a ton of Raging Skulls at everything. Astral Plate. 12% to all elemental resistances. Hang on. We could have improved something here. Okay, 12% to all resistances, 31% increased armor, 1000, reflects 43 physical damage. No, it's not good enough. I'm not going to bother getting into upgrading every single time I find a tiny increase. That's how we kill the love of the game. Craft life on that. I've never crafted anything and I don't know how to. Right? I do not recognize the power of crafting. I'm a simple man. We recognize the first 151 Pokemon, and we do not craft in Path of Exile. That's how I live my life. Let me just finish this fight. Just visit your hideout. Just visit. It's simple. Just visit your hideout. But then there's another screen. There's another UI. Remy, welcome to the stream. How are you today? Hopefully you're having a lovely day. Sometimes you just want to throw flaming hot skulls at people. You don't want to worry about crafting stuff. You don't want to think about being efficient. I like how everyone finds this stream really funny about how inefficient I am until I do something they themselves specifically think I should do. And then it's irritating. Because it's going to get worse. Now, I've tried to kill this boss before, and I died very fast. Don't know if it was this boss. No, you just unveil items. There was a big sand boss that killed me. Try naming the first 150 Pokemon from memory. Alright, cool. Someone write this down. I'm not going to be able to name them all in order. Someone keep track of this. Okay, let's see if we can do this. I'm legit not going to cheat on this. This might be a clip, might not, don't know. Let's go with the first basic ones. So, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Squirtle, Wartortle, Blastoise, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. Then we may as well go into the bugs, because they're the first that you encounter in the Pokemon games. So we're going to go with Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill, Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree. We may as well do the birds, because you encounter them. So Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot. Spearow, Fearow, you encounter those a bit later, but they're only now. You can also get Pikachu and Raichu in the early Viridian Forest. Then we're going to go through the forest. We're going to get the either Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume, or we are going to get the other ones, which is Bellsprout, Weeping Bell. This is going to take a while. You asked the question. This is going to take a while. I'm going through Pokemon Red and Blue mentally in my head. So Bellsprout and Weeping Bell. Then we're going to go into, we're going to beat Brock. We're going to go through, we're going to get Geodude, Graveler, Golem, Onix. If you're lucky, you're going to get a Clefairy and a Clefable. You've got Zubat and Golbat, so we go with that as well. I did say that I'm not going to be able to do this in order. I'm just going to try and get as many as I possibly can. So we get Zubat and Golbat, Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, just in case you may encounter those in the thing. If you go to Victory Road before you do anything else, you can also get Nidoran, Nidorino, and either Nidoking or Nidoqueen. Nidoran, both male and female, and Nidorino and Nidorina. So those are there as well. We may as well do Doduo and Dodrio, because you can also grab those. You can at that point trade the dude in the Poké Center for a Magikarp, which can evolve into a Gyarados, but it won't. If we're going for fish, we may as well go with Goldeen, Seaking, Tentacruel, that kind of stuff. I missed an evolution a while back. I may have done. I'll go through them again later. But I already said Spearow, Fearow, Pidgeotto, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot, so we've got all of those. I can't think of any evolutions that I've missed at the minute. We've got Golem, Geodude, Graveler, Golem. I said Pikachu and Raichu. We go with those. Do we really need to carry on? And then we've got the ones in the grass were it was Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume. I'm thinking I can picture it on PlayStation. Not PlayStation, Game Boy. Then you've got Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, Victory Bell. That was the one. Weeping Bell evolves into Victory Bell. Because, of course, there's 3. Josh, just when I thought you were a knowledgeable guy, you double down by reciting the Pokedex. I'm not getting all the Pokedex, and I definitely won't get it all in one go. But we can get some of it. You know, we can get little bits. Where else are we going from there? Because then you're going to get the weird ones like Dratini, Dragonair, Dragonite. Then it's all going to get mixed up. We're going to go with the Ghost Pokemon next. So Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, Cubo, and Marowak. Because you encounter those in the Pokemon Tower while you're there. If we're going with the very first Pokemon, it will either be Rhydon and Rhyhorn. Hey, we killed something that got a unique. That was nice. Rhydon, Rhyhorn, Mew, Mewtwo. My goodness, thank you. I haven't had a proper night's sleep since last time I did this, PoE Stashes. Why am I doing this? Doesn't need an explanation. Thank you very much. You have tipped me $10, which means I'm going to buy more stashes. And you're going to tell me to buy the currency tabs, but I'm not. I'm going to buy more regular tabs. And that will irritate everyone. But thank you. No, I can't keep going with... let's just pick up all these. Because they could be good. I got a ring. Is the ring any good? Let's find out. Time Clasp. Okay, 11% increased attack speed, increased cast speed. That's good. 9% increased skill effect duration. 7% of damage taken recouped as mana, 14% of damage taken, 10% recouped as life, and unaffected by temporal chains. I don't know what temporal chains are. Debuffs. Okay. Debuffs you are unaffected by can still be placed on you, but will not actually apply their effect. That's pretty good. That could be good. What would I think of an MMO that tried to use a gear system like Path of Exile? I think that that's just one part of a system that could be good. A lot of people say to me, what about a game that uses this system? What about a game that uses that system? And I'm not having a go at you for this. I'm just kind of pointing it out in general. One system does not make or break a game. One system is not going to be the reason that you do or don't play it. It could be the reason that people hate it or love it. But often it's not about just talking about the system in general. It's about the implementation. It's about how it works, why it works. Then people say, what about a game that did this? Well, if it was that simple, you'd just take the best things that all the games do and then just throw them all together into one go. Sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, things enhance each other and work together, and sometimes things don't. Sword, Terminus Est, Tiger Sword. Two-handed sword, increased physical damage, attack speed, critical strike, gain 10 mana per enemy killed, gain a frenzy charge. That's not bad. I could use that. Is there an upcoming MMO that I'm excited for? I don't know, because the MMORPG world has such a high expectation for every game that comes out. If it doesn't release in a finished, incredible, amazing, fantastic state, people immediately say, dead game. Whereas an MMO could be fine if it released with, less content, if it was aiming for a slightly smaller overall approach. I think that I am jarred, and I am probably slightly jaded by people telling me if this game doesn't have X amount of players on release, it is releasing dead. Whereas when a game comes out, I tend to wait for a bit, and if it's still going after a while, then I give it a go. Because I don't want to jump on the hype train, enjoy it for a couple of months, and then move off to something else. I like things that I can invest time into, slowly learn, get to know, that kind of stuff. Does he not have a currency tab? I do have a currency tab. Tab number 1. Tab number 1 is stackable things. If it's stackable, it goes in tab number 1. Most currency is stackable. Works there fine. You'll notice that we have 4 blacksmith's whetstones. Improves the quality of a weapon. Can't improve that. Stash is amazing. I think that's why WoW was so huge when it launched. I think that WoW launched into a genre that was just beginning to boom and wanted that. There is such a thing as right place and right time. And I think, because when World of Warcraft released, a lot of people said, oh my god, this is so much simpler than EverQuest. People accused it of being the kiddie version. But actually, it was kind of what people wanted. There was a level of complexity that appealed to people there. So here's one thing that really gets to me. So many new MMORPGs coming out keep saying, we're going to be the old school hardcore MMO like you remember. They're still going. You can still go and play EverQuest. You can still go and play Meridian 59. People seem to think that you will find a successful game if you just release an old school hardcore MMO like there used to be, but you're not releasing into the same kind of video game landscape. You're not releasing into the same reality. In fact, recently, Nexon were forced to release the monetary gain by, I think it was their top 10 players, the top 10 highest paying players over the last 10 years. And one player was spending, I think it was $150,000 a year on Nexon games. And the second highest paying player was spending something like $130,000 a year. So unfortunately, when you want to release an old school hardcore MMORPG into this gaming environment, you have to understand, if you make a pay-to-win game, one high-paying player is worth 1,000 mid-paying players. One whale spending 100 grand a year is worth thousands and thousands and thousands of other smaller players. But the whales need krill to eat, so you need to appeal to everyone else. What would you rather have? Would you rather have, again, I mean, someone pointed it out, the one high-paying whale player was equivalent to 4,000 players paying a $15 a month sub fee. What do you think is easier for you to achieve? 4,000 people who want to pay $15 a month, or one person who's got more money than sense? It is so much easier to find one rich person. Someone once said to the guy that owns Rolex, "What's the watch business like?" And he replied, "I don't know. I'm in the luxury business." That is the attitude shift that has hit the MMORPG genre in general. It's not necessarily about making the best MMORPG. For many of the people that control the money that is required to make these kind of games, it's about making a return on investment. Spot on in the chat, making a good game is much harder than making a casino disguised as a game, because there are mathematical studies for the most efficient way to make a successful casino. There are no mathematical studies for the most efficient way to make a successful, loved game, because if there were, everyone would just do that and thus make more money. Yeah. You say that one player is so much easier to lose their interest, lose the income. I'd choose the thousands any day for long-term success. You could do, but you're not looking at long-term success. You don't need long-term success. You don't need to support 4,000 people for every one person. So let's say you've got 10 high-paying players who are battling each other out. That's 40,000 people. Would you rather have 10 people who are going to try to outspend each other? Because, God, 10 people who try to outspend each other, you can focus your customer service on those guys. You can make them feel fantastic. You can make way more money serving one billionaire than you can serving 10,000 middle-class people, because that money just doesn't matter to that person. So yes, you lose a greater chunk of your income, but remember, you're also not really aiming for this long term. You're aiming for this to make profit and then move on. And I think that's one of the things that we're seeing more about newer MMORPGs. The thing that makes me the most nervous about them is the kind of short-term profits. God damn, okay, this dude is... Yep. Hang on, I've got to actually focus on this. Hang on. And now she's moved. Cool. And I am out of mana. You're taking damage from standing on caustic ground. There we go, now I better. Making video games is art. Making money is a business. That's a very good way of putting it. And there are many, many people who have studied how to be good at business. There are not that many people who study how to be good at art. Which video game has the most amount of bloat? Do you mean just more stuff in it than it needs? Let me think. Are we talking pointless bloat? Or I would say any of those kind of building mobile games where they're like, build your city, click here, tab here, but you've got this system, and this system, and this system, and this system. I mean, Path of Exile is a great example for a game with way too many systems that go core. And they always say, you know, oh, it's going to go core. As soon as this expansion's finished, it's going to go core. Okay, well, a new player coming into this has to deal with so many systems that were probably really fun when they were just individual systems, but now there's way too many of them. You know, any of the building games, the city kind of builders, with just way too much stuff going on. Let's just get my old golden boy out. Come on, golden boy. I need you. The Yule sweater is indeed gone. We're in the new year now. Back to classic. Classic stuff. I would say the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game is a great example of way too much stuff. Because the early Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game was, I take a card from my deck, I put it in my hand, I place it face down, and then I end my turn. And the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game is, I'm going to start the game, play all of these cards from my hand, Pendulum summon this, XYZ summon this, Crazy summon this, and now my deck's on the field. Your go. That's pretty much it. It's way too much stuff in far too little time. I mean, Magic the Gathering was going that way for a while with the summon elementals and the stupid invoke elementals, which I am not a big fan of. Caught a stream, probably meaning it's ending soon. It wasn't going to be, but it would be really funny now if it did. Really funny. Theric, happy to see my contribution, thank you very much, to the purchase of the most optimal distribution of stash tabs. It is optimal. You may not like it, but this is what peak performance looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to summon an absolute ton of minions here. See how fast Shikari goes down. My guess is she won't. At least not for a while. Because, good lord, taken some damage. I don't know how this fight works or what resistance I'm meant to have. So I am just summoning as many skulls as I can consistently. And hoping that my health regen... Oh, sweet, I actually won. That was lucky. The optimum performing tabs will be quad tabs with 1/4 for each type of gear. Done. What do I think of today's dating culture and how it affects young people mentally? Ooh, are we getting back into that chat? Because I do like that chat. We can get back to that chat. I think that it's gone too far the wrong way. And by that I mean, I have had people say to me, oh, back in my day, if something was broken, you fixed it. I'm like, okay. But you can understand that what that also means is you refuse to ever admit that the break is a systemic issue that is stemming from fundamental incompatibility. You're trying to force two jigsaw pieces here that don't work. That's what you're trying to do. You're effectively trying to, I mean, this is from a dating point of view, you're trying to force a relationship to happen when it shouldn't because your options are just so low, so few. You're making this happen. That's why people say, oh, you know, many, many years ago, people stayed together. I'm like, yeah, and we've heard all the horror stories of how terrible those relationships used to be. You, every now and again, get a group of grandparents who have been together 50, 60, 70 years, madly in love, everything's perfect. But they are nowhere near as frequent as, oh yeah, this couple have been together for ages and they hate each other. I mean, there's that old kind of boomer mentality of wife bad. And I think it's really weird that that became a sense of humor. Like, where did that stem from? Hating the person that you love and want to spend your life with is now a really funny thing. I get the humor. I don't understand why it was so popular. with everyone. Why everyone can be like, oh yeah, I hate my wife too. Why? Did you marry them then? But now we've also got this throwaway culture, which is as soon as there is any issue at all, you then don't need to address it. You just throw the whole person away and move on. It's like, okay, I'm compatible with this person. We're getting on. We've had a date or two. We really like it. Oh, hang on. We've found something now that we don't like about each other. We don't agree with. Is this a fundamentally incompatible thing that we can't change? If so, yes, maybe the relationship should not continue. If it's one of those things where actually this is a deal breaker, that's totally understandable. You know, break the deal. But what I think's happened is people have come to see the most insignificant shit as deal breakers. People have come to see, oh, this person doesn't... I mean, I've legitimately had people say, I can't keep dating that person. They didn't find The Office funny. Okay, I mean, you don't need to like the same TV shows as someone else. You can find a level of compatibility with someone. I freaking love Star Trek. Star Trek The Next Generation, one of my absolute favourite shows. I think it's fantastic. I love The Next Gen. I've got friends that don't like Star Trek. I'm not going to stop being friends with them because they don't like Star Trek. I love Star Trek. They don't. That's fine. I also like Battlestar Galactica. I've never seen Babylon 5 or Babylon 9, isn't it? I've never seen too much Stargate. I haven't yet seen Star Trek Voyager. But I want to, and these are processes I want to go through. I've had friends I know who have broken up because, you know, they don't like the way that someone eats their toast. They've had people that have broken up because they leave the bedroom in a messy way. They leave clothes around the place. I'm like, okay, hang on. You could just sit down and talk about this. You could express your opinions, your views in a healthy, respectful way, and both become better people for each other. That could work. Or you could do, unfortunately, what a lot of people seem to be doing. And again, if this is just my boomer millennial mentality being like, ooh, modern bad, I understand, but I have seen an uptick, an increase in people throwing away the whole thing because a small part doesn't work. And like I said, if that small part is a major deal breaker, understandable. But I've seen this happen when that small part should not have been a major deal breaker. I mean, sometimes people just make excuses. And one of the big things is ghosting. Oh, I went on a date, it went bad, I'm going to ghost that person. Okay, if you've got like legitimate safety concerns, you don't want to talk to that person again, you think ghosting them is the best idea, go for it. But if it's not a safety concern, if it's just a we didn't vibe, then that person should have enough respect to understand the hey, had a nice time, but I wasn't feeling the vibe, all the best kind of conversation. That works as well. And you know what? Sometimes it can even be a good idea to have that conversation with someone, and if they respond badly, ooh, you've dodged a bullet. Straight away. Nothing perfect exists, but between Instagram filters and TikTok demanding perfection from everyone, if something isn't perfect for you or for someone else that you know or love or care about, the attitude of it's not perfect, move on, sucks, man. It really does suck. A little bit more compassion and respect would go a long way. Flannel, that's a really good point. That's a really good point, but I believe those things are rarer than we would like them to be. Perfection is the enemy of done. So, on one side, you've got the old boomer mentality of relationship bad, but force it to work anyway. And on one side, you've got the Zoomer mentality of relationship not 100% perfect, throw it away, not even worth trying. There's got to be, again, a healthy middle. A healthy middle of it doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be compatible on a fundamental level that you can then talk to and improve on and get better at. Why do I hear narrators have the same voice as you in some video games? Like I'd swear you'd be the voice actor of the Slay the Princess. I have not voice acted in any video game, but I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I would enjoy that, I believe. I haven't yet had any offers, but I would happily listen to them. Went on a date with a girl who didn't want a second date because I didn't love the TV show Friends. You also have to ask, is that just an excuse they were giving to not go on the second date? Because if that is just an excuse, then we need to, as a society, become better at talking to people. But at the same time, there are elements of Friends that I find really funny. You know, people will hate me for this. It's become really popular to just hate Friends. I think there's actually some parts of it, of that show, that are really funny. I think some parts are really well written, really well acted, really well filmed. Is it a perfect show? No, because it's not. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is, in my mind, one of the funniest, best acted, best written, best filmed TV shows of all time. But I've got friends who absolutely hate It's Always Sunny. And it doesn't make me any less, you know, friends with them at all. I think Friends was very much a product of its time. Friends was a product of mid to late 90s humor. It was. It straight up was. Right, I need to increase my elemental resistances, I think. So let me see what we've got that's useful. Got to actually play the game for a second. Regenerate 0.5 life per second. That could be good, actually. 1% to all maximum elemental resistances. If you equip a helmet, body armor, gloves, and boots, and they all have armor, they will all have armor because armor, and armor. Sweet. So actually, we can do 1, 2 into these. Increased armor, increased maximum life, regenerate life per second. Yeah, that works. Let's go into life regen now. This works. Introduced my girlfriend to Sunny last year. First season, hated it. Okay, man. First season of Always Sunny is not good. The same way that I don't show people the first season of The Office if I want to introduce them to it. It's just not good. And I think that the season 2 onwards of Always Sunny is when they start to find their groove. You know, season 3 or 4 on, that's when it gets good. That's when it gets fantastic. See, you grew up from an only unique gear. You say this, but that's unique. That's unique. That's unique. That's unique. That's unique. That's unique that I'm wearing because it's just unique. In fact, so far it's only the gloves, the shield, and the helmet. And I'm only... In fact, do I have any... I want my shield to be... I've got the shield that I want, but I've not got the correct coloured slots for it. I can show you. I will show you now. If the first season isn't good, though, why should we have to watch through that? Same as a game that gets good 10... You know what? I completely agree, which is why I just skip it. If the first season isn't good, you should not need to be forced to slog through it for the second, third, fourth, or fifth to make sense. So instead, if you can just start at the second, third, fourth, or fifth, where it gets good, as long as the show gives you enough context to be a good onboarding point for new viewers, but also enough callbacks to be a good reference point for old viewers, that's great. That's the way to do it. You've got to find this really difficult balance between being an onboarding point and being a continuation. Okay, so I've got 3 chromatic orbs. I want more of them. I don't believe I have any more of them. And the reason I want more of them is because I got a shield that I want. This shield, I think, is good. The Ghastly Theatre. +2 to level of socketed support gems. Now that's cool, because currently in my shield, I think I've actually got a support gem. Or I could change my gems from my weapon over to my shield, because one of those is a support gem, minion life support. I can switch that around. The problem is this shield down here, the Ghastly Theatre. Currently it's got 3 linked slots. I need them all to be blue. So if Chris Wilson could just turn on the streamer client for a second and I right click this. Close. Close. No. Okay, so blue sockets are unlikely on a strength dex base. crafting bench might help. I completely agree with you, and I'm going to not follow that advice. I'm just going to keep throwing chromatic orbs at this until it gives me 3 blue. But it is a strength dex base, which is very annoying. So it requires strength and dex. So it's unlikely to give me 3 blues. Probably impossible. Or just hopefully unlikely. If you can tell me how to craft that on a bench, I will do it. How to craft the 3 blues. Because I've got a hideout. I just have no idea how to do it. Better chance with bench. I'm going to have to do a bench thing, aren't I? You can put 3 blue on craft. Need 120 chromatic orbs. Do you want a fun but time-consuming way to get off-color items? Of course I do. Type /hideout in chat. No, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to travel there from my... from the thing. From the waypoint. You can travel to your hideout, which I'm pretty sure I've set to be a stately hideout. Yeah, look at this. I've not got anything here. I've not done anything with it. But we've got the stately hideout, which is lovely. Very stately. Thank you. Ah, the crafting bench. Here we go. I've got no idea how any of this works. So... I'm guessing other? 3 linked sockets. Oh, so you can just put them on. At least 3 blue sockets. 120. Ah, so I just put the shield in there and I go with at least 3 blue sockets. But I also need to have 3 linked sockets. Or do I just do one or the other? Okay. You can go for less and or do 2 blue. Ah, so I could go for at least 2 blue sockets. Ah, which is 25. So then what I do is I just gamble that the other one's going to be blue. Right. Okay. And that one only costs 25. And the at least 3 blue, that one costs more. I see. I'm picking up what you're putting down here. Okay, so I could even create 4 linked sockets. Someone said gamble. It might do. Might need to. Question is, I need to first of all buy 25 of the chromatic orbs. So let's just keep playing the game until I get there, and then you guys will need to teach me how the hell any of this works. I don't get why all these guys are all standing here, super close to the waypoint. Like, are they meant to be all here? I thought they were just, like, meant to be spread around. Craft 2 blue, make 2 link, make 3 link, and hope for blue. Oh, I can edit them, I can move them. Okay, cool. I'm not going to do that. I mean, if I have a single chromatic orb, it is 50-50. You either do or don't get it. That's how it works. They're chilly. They're huddling there for warmth. Ah, they're all just hanging out together. Being friends. Put some of your yellow gear on the crafting table. That's not unique. Also, I don't have anywhere near enough currency to actually craft anything good yet. As we've just seen, I've burned all of my chromatic orbs. So how about... You know what, how about this? I pick up some rare items and I sell them. And that builds up my currency. Some of the crafts are cheap, you say? Okay, well, we'll look into that. The Gucci hobo build. That's a good way of putting it. It's terrible, but it's rare. I run around and throw things. I also pick up gems, because in my mind, gems are still valuable. I know they aren't, but in my mind they are. Is this a better Diablo 4? Depends what you're looking for. I would say it's a very similar game to Diablo 4, but I prefer Path of Exile. Okay, 2 sockets first, then make at least 2 blue. Then switch between 2 socket and 3 socket until you get a 3rd blue. As the order of sockets is set, so it's always going to be the same. Interesting. That is interesting. Okay. Does PoE have a housing system? I suppose the answer is yes, because of the hideouts that you get. And you unlock different hideouts by just playing the game, finding hideouts, and then clearing them. Ooh, hello. Step away from you while I throw in all of my minions. Ooh, that's going to damage me. Hey, there we go. Another unique. Do I need it? Definitely not. I've already got it. What the hell? One hit killed. One hit killed. I've died like 2 times in this run. Ah, it was those flowers. The big, powerful flowers. Alright, cool. Chaos damage. I knew I should have put that up. Knew I should have increased my chaos reds. Need more energy shield. You don't though, because that's not life. I probably should have just moved out the way. That was my fault. You know, I'll take that one. Let me just throw some more skulls at things. It's okay. We can resummon you. Resummon everything else. Open the strongbox and throw skulls at it. I am building into more life and armor though, so this is good. When I level up, we'll get some more good stuff going on. What were we talking about before? There's something important. Crafting, that was it. I will do crafting. Crafting will happen, worry not. But, like, eventually. I have been seeing some insane pictures on Reddit of the amount of currency people have been getting in this league. Because I haven't played many other leagues to this degree, is this league unusual for the amount of currency that people have been getting as drops? Because it looks ridiculous. People are getting entire stacks of rare currency. It does seem like it's too much. Like there's a bit of inflation going on here. Okay, let's just... can't sell the Highland Blade. It's unique. Can sell all those things. The Highland Blade can go in the unique tab, which I believe is currently tab 9. We are getting full. I should probably remove some not... I mean, I've got a Divine Orb. I don't know what they do, but I've got one. I think I found it in like Act 7. I've never actually done any maps, so I clearly got that from just something. I'll take those 2 things out and stick some more stackable stuff there. Then I'm going to stick these things over here. Bank is majestic. Thank you. I also met a trader in the Wildwood. This random dude that just sold unique items. So I bought from him. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. This Solaris Larica copper plate. Don't know if it's good, but I got that. Chaos damage taken does not bypass energy shield. Minus 40 chaos damage taken. 25% reduced chaos damage taken over time. I thought that was maybe good. Don't know. He gave me that. I gave him some more. I gave him the orbs that I'd collected, and he gave me that. I thought, sweet, I'll take that. I don't need the orbs that were there. I have never seen that vendor before. Yeah, he was just hanging out there. What was his name? Like Nameless something? I think it was called Nameless something. But no, I got that. Hi, first time catching a stream. Just wondered if you have a list for games for your worst MMO series. I do, but it's a very long list and people keep adding to it. So it might take me a while to get round to any of those things specifically. So yes, I do, but don't expect me to get to anything fast. Because it's going to take me a long time before I finally finish that list. It's and everyone contacts me and says, hey, can I suggest a game? You can, but it's probably already been suggested, and it's a long, long, long list as it is. Right, let me just deal with whatever the hell this big pile of death is. There we go. Time for a skeleton army, and then time for popping some bodies, so the skeleton army move faster. Right, off we run. I do like summoning the skulls and then using flesh offering to make the skulls go faster, because often they can kill things before I even see it. Like the amount of stuff we're killing off screen is huge. I will always get excited when a unique drops. Wheel of the Storm Sail. 35% to armor, 37 evasion rating, 37% increased rarity of items found, lots of lightning resistance, and 100% increased duration of curses on you. Can you put the chat on the right? Yeah, sure. There you go. Let's get back to flooding into whatever this camp here is. Perfect, thank you. Just leave it. Did you say leave a unique on the ground? Oh, okay, look, there are limits to what I will allow on this stream. There are some things that you can't say. All right? One of them is leave a unique on the ground. I need to very much stress how important that is. Just for a second, we were the main character. You experienced being the protagonist. Just briefly. I'm sure it was a beautiful moment for all of you. The problem is all the gameplay covering the chat. It is an issue. I understand that. Hang on, let's go this way and around. Can I put the chat upside down? I could do. Not going to, but I could do. Got that power. Will I be doing IRL content? So if you're in the UK, or you can get to the Insomnia Gaming Festival in Birmingham, which happens every 6 months, I normally go to the Insomnia Festival, and I normally do a stage show with the Session Zero crew, which is like a live improv D&D on stage. Very funny. I enjoy doing it. One of my favourite things to do in person. I went to EGX last year, which was pretty good fun, to be fair. I enjoyed EGX. And I want to try and do more IRL appearance stuff. It's just finding the time to do it, to be honest. Insomnia is one of my favourite conventions to go to. It's very kind of creator, player focused. It feels less corporate than a lot of the other big conventions, which is nice for me personally. And I like the people. In fact, I'm really hoping that I can, because one of the YouTuber friends that I boast about all the time, no, genuinely, he was a nice guy, was Kadikarus. Then if you guys watch Kadikarus or Katakaris, however you want to pronounce it, he does those Crash Bandicoot videos. He's lovely. He's really cool. I was lucky enough to meet him briefly at a convention, and we just hung out chatting for ages, and he's just like a super cool dude. So I'm really hoping that he can get down. Met the Spiffing Brit, a Daddy Caddy. Yeah, if that's what you want to call him, that's what you can call him. But no, just, it's nice to have the kind of creator ecosystem, I suppose is the best phrase for it. I very much enjoy it. Okay, so do we want regenerate 0.6 life per second, or do we want 3% increased maximum life? I think we probably want 3% increased maximum life, because one-hit kills are the problem. I'm going with max life. Let's go with that. People in the chat might be saying, don't do this, don't do that. I'm just going to level up this way from now on. That's the plan. Do I have any funny D&D stories? So many. I think the thing with funny D&D stories is they're always much funnier when you're there when they happen. Telling them to someone kind of after the fact loses a great deal of the impact. At least I find it does anyway. So the next time a funny one happens, hopefully you'll be there. Ooh, hang on, was that a laboratory? Okay, that was... where was that? Yeah, Rune Pledge, Contract Laboratory. Does the laboratory have a chance of giving me the replica items? Because the replica could be good. The replica item could be very... I want the replica... It's like a midnight wand or something. We could do a contract, but I might die. Very scared. Okay, we'll finish whatever this map is, then we'll do a contract. So I've got quite a few contracts. Oh, that's a contract. I need a blueprint. Okay. Hang on. Let's just take the basilisk down by flooding it with skulls. Done. Done and done. That's in Grand Heist only. Right. Need the Grand Heist then, do I? What happened to the Lazy Man streams? So, I very much love old school RuneScape. I will continue to play old school RuneScape. It will not be... I mean, I'm not going to be a Path of Exile streamer forever, but I'm enjoying it right now. So I decided to take the selfish choice of playing it for a bit. Mostly normally what I do, selfish-wise, is streaming or making the videos on the Plays channel. which is the one that allows me to make whatever the hell I want. Picking up some things and seeing if they're any good. Oh, that's good lightning resistance right there, 41%, and I think lightning is my lowest at... Actually, no, everything's maxed out now. That's good. Fire, cold, and lightning is pretty much all maxed. It's just chaos I need more of. Just need way more chaos stuff. What are the commands? Do you mean the commands for this stream? I don't think I put any in. You're thinking of another better streamer. OSRS Lazy Man was solid good watching. I love it, man. I very, very do much love it. Is this an evolution of the energy shield plus minions build? Yes, it is. It is the minions build, but with way more health and way more defense. Because I realized that I kept dying because I had no defense, so I have changed that. But for now, we will do a heist. I will show my bank off more. But what I really need to do is go and cook dinner for me and the dogs. So, guys, Saturday night, go do something fun with your time. Who's streaming? Is there anyone streaming right now that we can raid? Hang on. I will find who is streaming and then we will raid somebody. Because I've got to go off and cook dinner for myself. But, do like, is Zizaran streaming? If Ziz is streaming, we definitely can. I like Zizaran, he's cool. He popped in to say hi. Is he there? Hang on. Let me just search this. Oh, he's live. Okay, yeah, that can happen. Zizaran, by the way, is probably one of the best Path of Exile streamers in the world. So, without a doubt. He has PTSD from your stash. Well, you can, when we raid, you must say stash, which might be like a mustache thing, but it's mainly my bank. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm spelling his channel name correctly. It's not hard to spell. There we go. The raid has been created. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining me this evening. It's been lovely. I enjoyed the game. I enjoy hanging out with you. Hopefully the chat's been useful for all of you. Let's go over and say hi to Zizaran, a way more competent Path of Exile player than I, but maybe without quite as many innuendos. Take care. Good night. And God bless.